You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
What's going on, guys? It's Wednesday. Wednesday here in San Antonio. Welcome to the Drew Yari Show. I'm your host, Drew, and with me, as always,
Dustin from Spinebuster Tees and SpinebusterTees.com. Under the weather today, but once we start going here, I'll get going too as well. So I apologize in advance.
Apologies are not needed, my friend. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of tonight, we have it's been a very up and down week for wrestling. Like
very up and down, yeah. You know, like a big old roller coaster.
Like we've had very much a high on Friday and Saturday, and then after Saturday, it literally just went down.
I would like to argue and Sunday too as well. I know the main event, like the ending of the main event, wasn't a popular decision with some people, but I thought night 2 was, I would say, good. There was really good matches in there, but I would say it started to go down at the end of night 2 for sure.
All right, correct. But let's talk about you for a bit. You had yourself a busy weekend with the opening of the Spinebuster Tees store on Saturday. I think you said you had like a soft opening on Thursday, and then I came
Thursday and Friday. I kind of cheated. I was only open for like a couple hours, but the grand opening was on Saturday.
I came by on Friday. I don't know if anyone saw, if anyone on here follows me on, on any of my social media platforms. I have a few of you guys on my personal Facebook and Instagram as well. I shared some pictures of the store. If you're in the San Antonio area, if you're in the Texas area, if you're, if you want to go on a road trip, if you're a wrestling fan, come down to Spinebuster Tees.
I think it's worth the stop for sure.
Oh, it definitely is. It has everything you need. It's at the Wonderland Mall of Americas, and has everything you need from Funko bobbleheads, to Funko Pops, to action figures, shirts, memorabilia, whatnot, and you're gonna like what you see.
Yeah. So when you first walked in the first time, like, was it by the pictures? Like, was it more than what you were thinking? Like, did you think that? Like, what was your first thoughts when you first walked in?
I was a little blown away. I'm not just saying that to kiss ass or anything. I'm legit dead serious. Like, I was a little blown away because, again, I don't know. This isn't really a cop-out answer. I wasn't really know what to expect, and I mean that in a nice way. Like,
I understand. Yeah.
I was just like, all right, it's nothing's gonna look as good in my head, so I need to see like the real thing up close and personal. And I like what I saw. Like, I legit want to go back and get more shit. Like, I even told you, like, there was that Eddie Guerrero bobblehead that I had my eye on.
All right.
My sister-in-law likes Roman Reigns. I told her there's some Roman Reigns stuff.
Right.
And she was like, yeah, get me a Roman Reigns bobblehead if you can.
It's sweet.
It had everything we needed. I mean, as a wrestling fan, it has everything you need. And I enjoyed what I saw. I enjoyed my time there, and I can't wait to go back.
So you also, because you also came on Saturday, and you kind of went through the convention, like the Kings of Horror convention. Like what was I don't know if I don't think you bought anything, but like I mean, because I didn't get to see it. Like, what was some like the cool things you got to see that you remember?
It seemed like every booth we went to had bobbleheads, which I'm not complaining because I like bobbleheads.
Right.
But it's funny because Betty, she loves New Kids on the Block.
Oh, and yeah. Okay.
There was one table we went to where they had the entire collection of New Kids on the Block Funko bobbleheads.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, I'm pretty sure these are a pretty penny. So, as far as like the guests of honor, they weren't there by the time we got there. I guess they were taking a break. But I mean, they had some nice stuff there. There was one booth with wrestling stuff, and it's one of those things where like they had some nice stuff, but we weren't really looking to buy because we were kind of broke at the time. So
yeah, no, that's understandable. Yeah,
but I'm gonna sound like I'm stumbling over my words. Yeah, like they had some nice stuff. I'll just put it that way. Like if you're a horror fan, they had some stuff that'll tickle your fancy. If if you like horror movies, if you like movies in general, I know there was one section where they had posters for horror movies, like classic posters for horror movies.
Right.
Stuff like you're into, like Bela Lugosi, Lon, what's his name?
Lon Chaney Jr.
Lon Chaney Jr. There you go.
Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I mean, they had some nice stuff, but it was like a little pricey. So we're like, we want this shit, but it's a little too out of our price range.
Right.
But yeah, we had fun just like surveying the whole area. Like we literally just did a walkthrough of the whole area, like every booth.
Right. That's cool.
And then we looked up some stores. There's a sports store on the floor you're at. Well, like in the area of the top floor you're at.
Soul.
There you go.
Yeah.
They had some retro jerseys, which I'm like, I want these. Like I do want some of these jerseys, but they cost a shit ton.
Right.
And of course, we tried that vinyl store you were mentioning us about, the ones like right across from you.
Oh, CV Sam. Yeah.
I got the entire Rocky collection.
Oh wow!
Because I already have Creed, both Creed movies. So I got 1 and 5 on a DVD disc set for $10, and then I got Balboa, and that was $1. And the guy didn't charge me for Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. Sam's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, he just seemed like a pretty chill dude. And then
like
we just mentioned, the store is called, it's a vinyl store, so they have vinyls in there, and we're just looking around like it'd be pretty cool if we can get like a vinyl record player.
I don't know if he has any. I think he just has just the records. I don't think he has the actual record players. That'd be cool if he did.
No, he didn't actually.
Yeah,
I know we saw one at Half Price Books. Like they were selling a few of them, and yeah, they had like a bunch of records. They had like Michael Jackson, of course, Queen, My Chemical Romance, which was random. So I don't know. Just again, like it's like I think I mentioned this to you before. What's old is new. Like people were actually buying vinyl, records. They're actually buying. There's people buying VHSs again,
which is awesome.
There's that store, right across from the vinyl store that sells VHSs.
Yep.
And I would have figured that they would have been a lot, but no, like they're like $5, $3. I guess
reasonable.
depending on the movie. So yeah, I mean we look forward to going back again because it's like I mentioned to you before, where it's like Ingram is Ingram. So if you need like more, I guess, upscale kind of shit, like if you need to go to GameStop, you need to go to Sears, you need to go to Rack Room. But if you need more specific stuff, that mall is more of eBay, and I mean that in a compliment because I get my shit off of eBay. I'll get like retro games off of eBay, and then Amazon's more for like I guess more of a broad search of shit.
Right.
So I like the store. So
yeah, we're glad you had a good time coming in Friday and Saturday, and that you were checking out the place because and with the convention there too as well. So that's good. Just want to comment on one more thing, and we can move on to for the show tonight. But yeah, so I'm only open for less than a week, and some of the local wrestlers came by already. Some of the co-owner of Mission Pro Wrestling, he came through. He actually came through today. Jeremiah, if you're listening, thank you for coming out today. I appreciate you very much. So yeah, so there's things in the works. There's things in the works. I don't want to over promise and deliver type of thing. But in a few months, it's going to be pretty big. I think. So I just appreciate all the supporters out there for sure. So
I mean, I know it's going to be big. I have faith in you. I think you got yourself a hit. You got a hit on your hands.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, you're good. It's going to be like the new Starbucks.
The new Starbucks.
Where it's like every there's like a Starbucks in every like area.
Jesus Christ, man! I mean, that's what I don't want to think about right now. Like hiring employees and healthcare and I'm just worried about myself right now.
He's going to be sitting on stacks and stacks of money.
Oh, I'm just enjoying what I do. That's it. But yeah, man. After I left Saturday, left around like close to 6:30. Went home and I'll watch Mania Night 1. So yeah, very much so enjoyed the show. 100%. Night 1 was fantastic from top to bottom.
Absolutely, and we will get into that. And I know I've said this a million times, but I'm going to say it again because it's true. I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
The success of the store and continuing your much-deserved success, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
But let's get started with the meat and potatoes. So,
yeah.
Should we start with Stand and Deliver or Mania?
I mean, it's whatever. I mean, we can go Stand and Deliver first, and just go from there.
Right. So Stand and Deliver was first. Oh, before that, quick thoughts on the Hall of Fame.
Good. I liked it. I mean, with Dom walking out, which was good there. I kind of wish that they kind of took a little bit further, but whatever. I guess I guess I'm just one of the ones that likes to break tradition. You know what I mean? But I mean, no complaints though. About it. It was a very, 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 very good Hall of Fame. Ray's speech was fantastic. Angie's a real one. You know what I mean? Hopefully I can find a woman like that. Too bad it's the opposite here in San Antonio, where it's the man always fully having to support the woman and not vice versa, at least for the women that, that I attract myself to, which is probably the issue. But yeah, no, Hall of Fame was good.
I enjoyed it too. I mean, what you mentioned about Dom possibly getting involved, I think looking back on it, I think if he were to get involved, like go after Ray, I think that would have been a little too hokey, in my opinion. Like I like the fact that he walked out because it added to who his character was. That he hates his dad. Like I think if he just ran up on stage and beat the shit out of somebody or beat the shit out of Ray, it would have been too silly. You know what I mean? I
mean, not even beat the shit out of him, but just like confront him and like maybe Ray ducks and just hits him with a right hand and that's it. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be like a full on beatdown, but
no, I get you. And Maurice is adding Buddy Matthews was sitting right next to Rhea, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Funny little picture.
Yeah, some AEW people there. Malachi Black was there with his wife Thea Trinidad, Zelina Vega. And yeah, it was a nice Hall of Fame. I mean, I guess the main event of the Hall of Fame being Ray, that was, the better one. Conan coming out and talking. It was interesting seeing Conan on WWE television.
Yeah, he got a great introduction promo too.
Yeah, like I mean, of course, I like the part where he said, I want to be adopted by Ray and Angie. Maybe I can replace Dominic. which is interesting because Conan is actually Dominic's godfather.
Right. One thing I thought was like, man, Ray's like really, and obviously he's always been, but like he's like, but man, he really is putting over Conan. Is Conan in the Mexican Mafia or something like that? I mean, he wouldn't be, but like I just thought that was funny.
I mean, I was kind of, I don't want to say surprised, but I was almost like kind of like overwhelmed by how much Conan has had an effect on Ray's not just his career but his life. I mean, because there was that line where Ray said, "In my house, we thank God first and Conan second."
Yeah, that's what made me think. Like Jesus, like is Conan in the Mafia or something like that? And Ray has to always put him over. But yeah,
and just
that's very cool though. That's very cool.
And just like you said, Angie's ride or die, and just the stories that he was telling about how Angie supported him and would send him money, and she had to put her career on hold just to help him. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I was getting emotional too. I'm like, holy shit. And just again, Ray's a sweetheart. Like, just of all the people in wrestling, you always hear bad things about, or at least like less than stellar things. With Ray, I don't think you've ever heard one, iota of like criticism about him as a person.
I haven't heard anything negative about Rey Mysterio as a wrestler or how he works backstage.
Yeah, he just looked like he was happy to be there, obviously, but like, they're like, he was acknowledging the fans. The fans would say, "I love you, Ray." He just goes, "I love you too, man." So I thought that was cool, but good for Ray.
Very humble.
Yeah, very humble. The Wrestle Hall of Fame. I thought Stacy Keibler went a little bit too long. It clearly looked like she was either memorizing lines or reading off a teleprompter. But that woman does not age. She looks oof.
She looks fantastic. Yeah,
fantastic. Ric Flair spending 10 minutes talking about Ric Flair and barely about Great Muta. The family of Andy Kaufman I thought was great. Tim White's brothers who look and sound just like him. And of course the APA inducting him I thought was great. Who else? That's everybody, right?
Yeah, it was only 5.
Okay, so Hall of Fame was Friday. So now we're going to move on to Saturday. We're talking about NXT Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver was at the Crypto.com Arena in LA on April 1st. I had to rewatch the show, I think, the very next night because, like I mentioned, when I got to your store, I had told you I only saw, I think 2 matches, so I didn't get to finish the show.
Right.
So,
I had to rewatch the main event because I started to get busy when the main event started to happen.
Oh, yeah. So, first match, 8-person mixed tag match, Chase University versus Schism.
Well, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was acceptable. It was on the pre-show. I thought that Schism was going to get the win. Now what we heard as of yesterday, we know why Schism didn't get the win. With the Grizzly Young Veterans asking for their release, hasn't been granted. There's been some people out there on Twitter saying that they were granted their release. They just requested their release. They were actually on it was either an NXT taping or a house show last night. So, but yeah. I mean, they did what they need to do. Rock's daughter for being for her first match on TV and first match in general. I thought she did okay. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be too hard on her. It's her first fucking match. You know what I mean? But you can tell with some years of seasoning that she's gonna get better for sure.
I thought she was very green, but again, it was her very first match, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's the first match. Yeah,
I'm not gonna chop her head off. I mean, I thought she was more green than bad. I mean, she didn't do anything that was she didn't
fuck anything up.
She didn't fuck anything up. She didn't hurt anybody or whatever. But she can tell this girl really needs more training and needs more seasoning, and hopefully she can be. I'm not trying to compare her to her dad because that's her dad. The Rock's The Rock. He's always going to be The Rock. Nobody can be The Rock. I don't even think she can be The Rock. And I think she knows she can't be The Rock, but I think she can be good. A really good wrestler. That's really all we're hoping for from her. Or just be good. But, we'll give her a pass on this one. But, yeah, I was surprised that Schism didn't win. But, again, just like you said, now we kind of know why. Next is a ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Lyra Valkyria, and Tiffany Stratton.
Surprised by the winner. I'm not upset with it, but I was just surprised by the winner. It was a decent women's ladders match. Tiffany Stratton was taking some bumps in that match.
Boy.
man, she was taking some bumps in that match, and I can tell you that she could take it. You know what I mean? Because like if she's gonna become one of the next big stars on NXT and eventually the main roster, she's gonna need to take bumps like that. I mean, not to the point where no one's catching her, but she's gonna have a little pain, have a little marks on her back and things of that nature. But no, she looked good here in this match. Everyone looked good to a certain extent. I thought. I didn't think the match was terrible, but it was a good opener. Again, surprised that Indy Hartwell won, but it's deserved. You know what I mean, in my opinion, because she's been there for so long, and she's putting in the work, and by all means, she's not a great wrestler, but she's popular with the fans and the fans there, and I like her too as well. And it made a good moment.
I love Indy too. I mean, I'm not gonna shut on her completely. To me, it reminded me of when there was that ladder match at WrestleMania in 2016, where it's like you have Kevin Owens, you have Sami Zayn, I forgot who else was in the match, and then they give the title to Zack Snyder, Zack Ryder, and then he loses it the very next night, and they basically just gave him that just so he can have his moment, and not because he was actually over. And that's how I kind of feel about this match, where it's just like, again, I love Indy, but she hasn't really done anything on NXT lately. Like, she's been kind of floundering, and I mean, we've all talked about that. Like, why the hell isn't she on the main roster with Gargano, with Candice, with Dexter? But I mean, again, I can't really shut on it too much because, again, I love Indy, so it's one of those things where, like, okay, whatever. Like with you, Tiffany Stratton, she was out there just really trying to prove herself to the fans.
Love her, man.
Like,
I love her, man, and you know that I've been touting her for a while now. I mean, she's gonna be a star.
Oh yeah, she looks like a star, and she's wrestling like a star. Like that bump off the ladder where she fell on her back. Like, okay, so the camera like panned out as soon as she was falling, and I remember I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is there like a bunch of ladders there that she's gonna land on? And then as the camera panned out, there's just a bunch of people there waiting for her. And then when she fell, you heard like that smack on the on the padding. I'm like, ooh, and I even said that out loud. Oh shit!
Yeah,
like you can hear her scream like ah. So hopefully she's okay. So I thought she was the MVP of the match because I was actually thinking like, is she gonna win? I'm trying to look at. Let me look at the other people in the match. So I thought Gigi was good. I didn't think she was actually going to win, and then JC showed up and cost her the match. I'm like, good. Let's continue this because I love both girls, but I like JC. I'm a JC guy. I think JC can really be the star. Just I don't know. She has more of a swagger to her, and she can work. Gigi's a sympathetic babyface, and the people like her, but she needs to kind of get a little better in the ring. Just my opinion. And the crowd was very pro Gigi, so that was cool. Zoe was kind of good. I was kind of getting annoyed because I'm thinking, like, are they really going to give it back to Zoe? And I meant that more as, like, why did they do the Shawn Michaels feigning bit and take the title off of Zoe and then possibly give it to her or give it back to her?
Zoe or Roxanne?
Oh, not Zoe. Roxanne, I'm sorry. Yeah, Zoe did okay. The Valkyria girl, I thought she was fine until she didn't have anything else to do. So, I don't know. But Indy won with help from Dexter, who he just like slid in right between her legs and just had that look on his face like, let's go, baby. So, I mean, it was a nice moment. So, and then, the rest of the way, minus Austin Theory came out and helped out, or not helped out, but celebrated with Indy. So that was a nice moment. Next is a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Gallus versus The Family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, the Creed brothers.
This match was fine. I mean, to me, I would say that this is the second to worst match on the card. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad match, but it was fine. There was just really no heat going into the match itself. I love the Gallus boys. Love Gallus. but they're just not translating over to the American audience as well as they did over in the UK, obviously. So maybe that'll change because Joe Coffey's back now. Maybe they could do something with them, but just right now, that's NXT's weakest point is the tag team division. But Creed Brothers look good as always here, and Tony D and Stacks impressed me. He's been improving a lot. So he did very well in this match. But yeah, the match was fine. It just didn't have any heat behind it.
I actually thought this was a bad match. And it's just with the talent in the ring. I like the Creeds. We both know we both like the Creeds. It's like I don't know if I could put it on them. I don't really know if I can put it on anyone. And to be honest, I think this was just one of those days where nothing was clicking because the match was just really, really sloppy. The moves didn't look good, so
wow.
I
think you're the minority with that one.
I don't know, something about the match just didn't work for me. I didn't like it personally. So and then Joe Coffey came out like you said, and Gallus on paper looks like they should be a lot. I don't want to say over, but like they should be
more dominant. I guess you want to say
more dominant. The American fans should react to them a lot more than they actually are, but I don't know. Like, hopefully they get over. Hopefully something works for them, because they have. What happened?
I was like, no. Tony Khan's making an announcement. I think they're doing all out in London, from what I was hearing.
Oh,
not in Chicago, which is interesting for sure. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, that was pretty much my speech, but. So that's the epic announcement.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, they're going overseas, first pay-per-view overseas. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Hey, I'm not knocking it. I mean, pay-per-views overseas are, overseas crowds, love everything. So they're always pretty responsive. So Wembley Stadium, wow. That's pretty ballsy.
Now, yeah, that's ballsy because I don't know if. Call All In London, not All Out London. All In London. Okay. Man, that's a. I mean, and all in, all out. That this is their WrestleMania anyway. So this is like the WrestleMania. So they got built up properly. They got to try to get CM Punk in there somehow, in my opinion. But yeah,
because I mean, I'm pretty sure
they're gonna sell.
I mean, they're gonna sell, but that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a sellout, but they're gonna sell.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. Next is, in my opinion, the best match of the night, or afternoon. Fatal 5-way match for the NXT North American Championship. Wes Lee versus Axiom, Dragon Lee, Ilya Dragunov, JD McDonough.
This is my kind of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
This is my kind of wrestling. Hard-hitting, spots, false finishes, let everyone get their stuff in. It's great. It's great. Axiom really impressed me. You know what I mean? And I always loved Axiom A-Kid already, but he was the standout in this match. Dragon Lee, like, I don't want to say he was like not impressive. He did well, but there's other people that outshined him in his first match. You know what I mean? But he did well. Even on NXT last night, him versus Nathan Frazier. Oh my God, that was one of the best team matches of the year. But no one's gonna talk about it because NXT and like, oh fuck NXT. Da, da, da. But to me, that was one of the best team matches of the year so far. But anyway. Ilya Dragunov, I mean, he sells like a fucking beast. Everything he makes, like, everything's killing him. You know what I mean? JD McDonough, always liked him. Always loved Jordan Devlin. He just keeps improving. To me, I mean, this is a top 5 match of the weekend, and I'm including Ring of Honor and Impact as well. You know what I mean? I think this match was fan-fucking-tastic. Wesley won, which was the right outcome, obviously. And and hopefully this is why I want to see. I want to see just different matches between all one-on-one matches between all 5 of them and mix and match and do that there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the SmackDown 6. This could be the NXT 5. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's probably not going to be that. Obviously, it's not going to be that popular or that well known. But if they do it right, this could be the NXT 5. Fantastic match.
I echoed that sentiment. I thought it was great. I thought everybody in this match shined. I thought Dragunov was kind of the MVP. For a second, I was like, is Dragunov going to win? Because he was just doing some crazy shit out there. McDonough has kind of grown on me because I wasn't a huge fan of his when he was Jordan Devlin, and when he became McDonough, I'm like, so is he like, the nip tuck doctor? What the fuck is he supposed to be? And just over time, especially working with Dragunov, I think has kind of really made me like him a lot more. It's like Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Like, I was never a big Sheamus fan, but then when he started working with Drew McIntyre and just having those really good matches, I'm like, okay, I think I dig Sheamus now. Same thing with McDonough. So McDonough did great. Axiom, I think it's weird that he's a mathematician superhero.
Yeah, the gimmick's rough, but that motherfucker's probably one of the best that NXT has as far as in ring.
Oh yeah, no debates on that. Dragon Lee, I was impressed.
Love his ring entrance. They kind of fucked up on it, but I saw it again on Tuesday. Man, that's one of the things I really love in wrestling is production. That's one of the things that I can really appreciate is the production, and that production is top notch for it. You know what I mean? Like, they made like a little like, I don't know if you ever played Mortal Kombat, like Mortal Kombat 9 and X, and like with the X factors, it kind of looks like an X Factor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, great stuff, great match.
My only complaint about Dragon Lee is, I just kind of wish he would wear more longer tights. Because
I was kind of thinking the same thing as well.
You got some thick ass legs, boy. Whew.
Yeah, I mean he has wore longer tights. I don't know if this was suggested, but it's the same thing. Like, Wes Lee, like, I don't really like his shorts, but it kind of works for him. You know what I mean? And Ricochet, he went through the phase of shorts and tights and all that there, but with him though, like even before, like he used to wear the Randy Orton black tights. Mm-hmm. So this is more than what he was known in Japan and in NJPW. So he's actually in comparison to what he was wearing in NJPW, he's actually wearing more now. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, but I'm impressed with Lee. Just I can't help but look. And then Wes Lee is really good. And what else can we say about him? Like, the right man won, and he just another guy where it's just like, I don't know where he's getting his training or where he got his training, but he is really good.
He's a great seller.
And then I just, again, like, he's a guy that made the best out of a bad situation. Lost his, his tag team partner got fired, and we were assuming, pretty soon he's going to join, and then he just got over because he's a really good talker. He's a sympathetic babyface and a good wrestler. So we're happy on that. Well, I mean, it'd be nice if Nash Carter did come back. I mean, at this point, like, I would think they would bring him back. Maybe not because of
if I'm any talent, I'm not going to WWE. Period.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
but great match. Next is Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller in an unsanctioned match.
This is where I started to get busy. But I was able to watch like at least the first half of the match. I thought this match was, for what I saw, was pretty good. Good spots, good storytelling with it as well. Right man won. Obviously, we knew Johnny was gonna win. My next question is what's next for Grayson Waller, and my answer is I don't fucking know. I don't know a lot. I don't know a lot of shit right now, but I thought the match was good. And Johnny Gargano was wrestling like Johnny Gargano, the Johnny Gargano that was wrestling his ass off in NXT prior. So hopefully we can get more of this Giant. Well, probably not, but probably not going to get that Giant Gargano on the main roster. But yeah, Yeah, good match though. Liked it a lot.
I mean, I thought it was fine. It was a fun match. It was what it was. You kind of knew what was going to happen. It did its job. Gargano coming back, for the feel good moment of the show to basically, close a chapter for NXT. So, I mean, I'm not the biggest Johnny Gargano fan, but I thought this match was fun. It was a fun match.
And Cancellation involved too as well was pretty cool. So
yeah, there you go. And then as for, like you said, as for Waller, where does he go from here? Does he go to the main roster? Does he, I don't know, feud with Wes Lee? I don't know. I mean,
does he feud with Mello?
Maybe down the line, but we'll get to that.
Does he die? You know what I mean? Does he just quit WWE? Like, what's going to happen?
We'll find out. Next is the Women's Tag Team Championship match, Alba Fire and Ella Dawn versus Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Fire and Dawn win the tag team titles. This was. I mean, it wasn't really a great match or a bad match. It was okay. It was fine for what it was.
I thought this was the worst match of the night of the show.
Just by the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say. I won't. And when I say by worst, I don't think it was like a totally horrific bad match. Very underwhelming. The right team won. This is more for storyline. They actually could have just put this on NXT. Either last Tuesday or this Tuesday, and try to get some time to some of the other matches. But is what it is. Or add another match to the show. You know what I mean? Could have been Schism and Chase U on the main card. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that I'm really glad that Isla Dawn won a title in WWE. That it was one of my. I won't say I was super high on her out of the Mae Young classes, but I saw some promise, and she's starting to live up to it. With her character and her hot sluttiness that she does. You know what I mean? Not calling her a slut, but just how she, just how she perceives on TV sometimes. But and now we got to worry about the next part of storyline with Kiana James and Fallon Henley, which honestly I'm not really too big into, but I've seen worse.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it was very much a by the numbers kind of match. Like this seemed like a match that could have been on NXT, like a regular episode of NXT, but I guess the right team won. Isla Dawn and what the fuck's her name? Alba Fire. Like, I'm not the biggest Alba Fire fan, but I think she works better with Dawn because they're kind of like, I guess, like compatible. They make sense together, and Isla Dawn's kind of hot, so we'll go with that. All right, main event time. NXT Championship singles match: Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker. Carmelo Hayes coming out with the LA Lakers logo with his name in it, showing the jerseys of players or not players, but wrestlers he's retired. And then Braun Breaker just comes out with a regular entrance. So I'm like, okay. I mean, usually he'll have like a gimmick in his entrance, but
yeah. Well, that means he was losing too. So
right, but you know what I mean. But
yeah, I follow you. I get you. Good. I didn't watch this match live because I started to get very busy in the shop, but I went back and watched it, and a very good match overall. It wasn't like fantastic, great. I'm not gonna remember this a year from now. All I'm gonna remember is the ending. All I'm gonna remember is that this is where Mel won his title here. So, and this is where Breaker's reign ended. But very good match. It looks like the feud's going to continue. I know we're probably not going to talk about NXT, but just to touch on Braun Breaker turning heel, this is what he needs. He needs that heel turn. The fans start to boom, and this makes Melo the biggest babyface on the NXT roster as well. And it's kind of like what you asked for as well. You weren't necessarily asking for the turn heel, but just get an edge, and he's going to get that edge back. So,
oh no, I wanted him to turn heel.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, whatever. But he's going to have that edge back now, and I don't have no complaints here. I thought it wasn't booked perfectly, but I was very high on the booking of this match and afterwards as well. on NXT last night. So, yeah, good for Melo, and good for Braun Breaker too as well. He's gonna stay down there for a little bit longer, lose, and finally get called up to the main roster.
I thought it was a good match. I mean, nothing special, nothing too like crazy, but it was predictable because you knew Melo was gonna win, but Braun didn't half-ass it or anything. So neither guy half-assed it. So Melo's the star. He's the future of NXT, and Braun is going to go to the main roster. I mean, I honestly thought, this is going to be the last match for Braun in NXT. He was just going to go straight to the main roster. But like we just mentioned, fast forwarding to Tuesday, Braun turned heel and, beat the shit out of Melo and Trick. So I guess, he's not done in NXT. So I'm interested in this because I've been preaching, Braun's been very one note. He needs to be a heel. Because before, a lot of his promos were very heel-like. And then he just became, Buddy Braun, as I call him. I'm everyone's buddy. I love everybody. I'm a nice guy, yada, yada, yada. Whereas, he had a lot more of an edge to him. He was a lot more like Uncle Scotty and less like his dad, which I don't... We'll talk about that. But with Braun, he needs to channel Uncle Scotty for his heel-like isms, and it looks like that's the way we're going. I mean, if he shows up next week to NXT with bleach blonde hair and a tiger, I'm all set. Awesome.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, yeah, and I won't complain. I won't complain about that.
No complaints here, but that was NXT Stand and Deliver. Overall, what are your thoughts on the show? Favorite match of the night, worst match of the night, and just an overall grade.
So I give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Very good show overall. Not perfect, obviously. I think this is possibly the best pay-per-view since the 2.0 takeover. So, and it was better than the last one, which I thought the last one was pretty good too as well. Then worst match of the night was the women's tag match. Best match of the night was the 5-way for the North American Championship. Fantastic match, and to me that was one of the best matches of the weekend.
Kind of go with you. I'll give it a C. Or you said 7 out of 10, right?
Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, I guess a C plus. That's kind of closer to that. Favorite match of the night, like you, the 5-way Fatal 4-way. I thought that was great. Worst match of the night for me was the men's tag team championship match. I just thought it was very sloppy. I don't know. Maybe just all teams weren't really having a good day. And and the women's tag team match wasn't very good either. The women's ladder match I thought was really good and up until the ending. And then the main event was good, but the Fatal 5-way I thought was a lot better. So
yep.
That was NXT Stand and Deliver. They just announced their next takeover will be in May.
Massachusetts. Yeah, May something.
It'll be in
Worcester.
Worcester?
Worcester, yeah.
Hold on, let me look this up. This is gonna try. Battleground, that's what it's called.
Battleground, yeah.
Battleground. So awesome. We're saying Double or Nothing night in Lowell. Oh, it's in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Oh, Lowell. My bad.
Is it? Oh, yes, it is. All right, so WrestleMania. In Inglewood, California, at the SoFi Stadium. Night 1 and Night 2 combined for over 161,892 people. Night 1 had 80,497. Night 2 had 81,395. And the tagline, WrestleMania goes Hollywood. So let's get to Night 1. Night 1, the first match of the night, Austin Theory versus John Cena for the United States Championship. Austin Theory won. Go ahead.
I mean, it wasn't... I'll put it to you this way. This is a bottom tier WrestleMania 39 match. It wasn't terrible. What you expect. Cena is not a everyday wrestler anymore, right? I'm surprised that he was that much in shape for the match. The right person won. Is it gonna do anything much for Austin Theory? I don't know a lot of shit right now. As of right now, I would say, I would say yes, because it's it's sometimes it's not about how good the match was. It's just how it looks good on paper.
Okay. I didn't think. I mean, I thought there was again. I thought it was an okay match. It was by the numbers. I thought this was a good way to open the show because we're gonna get to the matches. Night one was just so good that I think if you opened it with like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, it's like what else is gonna follow this match? So this is a nice way to get the crowd going. With John Cena, who's one of the biggest stars in wrestling and one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. So it's a nice way to open the show. Cena just really pale. Like, just really... Like, I don't think I've ever seen him that pale. Mm-hmm. Theory won, because Theory, deserved to win, because he's Theory. He's the now.
Yeah.
He's the future, and, Cena, at this point, he's only back to put over talent, which is good. I mean, he can lose... he could lose every match for the rest of his career and he'll still be John Cena. He'll still be fine. So, what do you think about the ending? About, Theory cheating to win?
I mean, I'm okay with it. He's a heel. That's what heels do.
Right. I mean, I'm fine with it too, but like, do you think it would have maybe done more for him if he just won, clean as a blanket? Or clean as a sheet, I mean?
Yeah, I think it could have done better for him, but like to me, like he can win clean, and like if WWE just fucks up with him, then it didn't matter. He can, or he can win with a, with a low blow and cheating. Then if WWE like enhances on that, then what I mean. Like to me, a lot of people were more worried about the match outcome and like how good he looked instead of the aftermath. The aftermath is the most important part. So, you know what I mean. So he could have like a fucking great match with John Cena. John Cena could look like fucking 2008 Cena in there. You know what I mean? It won't mean shit if the aftermath doesn't mean anything. If they fuck up on the aftermath, So
no, I get you.
So hopefully, what they do with the Theory. Hopefully, he looks good, and hopefully it's not forced. I don't have any high hopes for that, but we'll see.
The match was 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Next is the men's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Match. The Street Profits defeated Braun Strowman and Ricochet, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders.
They had less than 10 minutes out there, and they had the best possible match that they can with the time that was allotted. A lot of great high-flying spots. Everyone looked good in the match. Ricochet, with a fucking... springboard, fucking shooting star press and almost laying on his feet to the outside. And, it was a spot fest, you know what I mean? Like a Young Bucks-like type of match. And I liked it. It was a very good match, It was very good for the time allotted.
It was the dark horse for match of the night. It was a, dark horse candidate for match of the night. Because I wasn't really expecting much out of this match. I just looked at it as like, this is probably going to be a fun match to watch, but it looks like it should be on SmackDown. But I was pleasantly surprised because this match was 8 minutes and 30 seconds, so 8.5 minutes. And these guys just really made the best of it. Like everybody out there shined. Braun, again, people like Braun. Braun's over. Whether, people like to admit it or not, people like him. He gets a reaction. When he was doing like the choo-choo train thing and he does like the second, go at it, and then Angelo Dawkins, knocks his ass down, which I was like, oh shit. Like that was pretty cool. Ricochet did some nice shit, Chad Gable fucking doing a double German suplex to Braun, which I'm like, holy shit.
Very impressive, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I love Chad Gable. I mean, I'll take him over Gargano, personally. To me, it's just like, can we get him out of the goofy shit and have him be more serious? Like, give him a better faction instead of Otis. Like, put the Creeds with him. Like, that'd be awesome. But the Viking Raiders even did some nice shit too. So, and then the Street Profits won, which good because the Street Profits are over. People like them. Montez is a freak of nature as far as like athletics goes, and then Angelo Dawkins again just having enough strength to knock Strowman's ass down. Like, again, we know it's wrestling, but it still takes a lot of strength to knock a guy like that down.
Yeah.
And Angelo, is a big man. For a second, it kind of looked like Angelo was maybe bigger than Braun. Like, I don't know. Is that me or is that a thing?
Yeah, Angelo's definitely not bigger than Braun. He's a big man, but yeah, he's there. Yeah,
All
not
right.
bigger than Braun.
So this is a good match. I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this. Next is Seth friggin' Rollins versus Logan Paul in a singles match. Seth Rollins winning. What are your thoughts?
Great spectacle match. Social. It's a social media match in a good way. Logan Paul, if he wants to do this full time, I think he can do very well full time. But he's a great, he's not like a great like professional wrestler like a Chris Benoit or Bret Hart or anything like that.
No.
But like he could put on some very exciting wrestling matches.
Right.
And he put one on with Seth. KSI being there, I thought it was going to be Jake Paul, but I was quite surprised that was KSI there. So that was pretty funny with the Prime bottle and the splash through the table. So it did what it needed to do. KSI, selling the injuries even afterwards on Instagram and Facebook or whatnot, Twitter, fantastic stuff. Logan Paul looked good in defeat here. Seth needed to win, he did, and he had great ring entrance as well. So. Overall, very entertaining match. If you said that this match was a top 3 match for you for the weekend, and I'll kind of question a little bit, but at the same time I won't super complain. I'll just kind of debate it per se. But yeah, very good match.
This is a really good match. I mean, Logan Paul. What else can we say about him that has already been said? The guy's had 5 matches. If you want to include the Rumble, which is technically still a match. He's been really impressive in all 5 of his matches, and his contract expired over the weekend, and he was talking about extending it, and apparently he signed a 2-year deal, but that hasn't been announced. And if that hasn't happened yet, WWE needs to sign him and just give him whatever the fuck he wants. That's just my opinion. But he, like you just said, he's not a great mat technician, but he's a very exciting wrestler to watch. He's like like Jeff Hardy, prime Jeff Hardy. He wasn't a great wrestler per se, but he was an exciting wrestler to watch. I'm not comparing Logan Paul to Jeff Hardy. I'm just kind of giving an example. But he's really fucking good. Seth Rollins, still questioning the whole weird gimmick of him dressed as, Elton John or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be. But, nonetheless, great wrestler. He has great matches, and I was expecting him to win this because he's been on a losing streak lately, and actually he hasn't won a Mania match since 2019. So I expected him to win, and there were some nice spots in here with KSI, and for a second I thought that was going to be Jake Paul. And when he took off his mask, I was like, who the fuck is that? Because I know Corey Graves like, it's KSI! I'm like, who? But a spot with the table where KSI is holding Seth, and then Logan spits out his drink like he's Triple H, and then at the last second, Logan grabs KSI and puts him on the table. I was like, that was really fucking cool. But a fun match. Of night 1, that was maybe my second, or actually, third favorite match, and we'll get to the second favorite match in a bit, but really entertaining match. Logan Paul continues to impress, and Seth, again, I like Seth Rollins. I like his matches, and he continues to have some of the better matches on the show. So, great match. Next is the 6-woman tag match: Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control.
Boring match. Wasn't well. No, I'll take that back. They did fine. I was personally bored by it, me personally, but I will say that the match itself was good. No, well, I won't say good. I will say decent. They worked hard. They worked very hard. I was just personally bored by it because it had no heat behind it. It was just 6-man tag, 6-woman tag, blah blah blah.
No, get you.
Damage Control lost as expected. The babyface is won. There was no heel turn, nothing like that. So that's what I mean by boring match, because it was so anticlimactic. And they got their time, but the time that they were given, they did okay. They did okay. You know what I mean? But To me, I will say down with Cena and Theory, the two weakest matches of night one.
Yeah, again, I thought it was a fine match. Wasn't anything special. Like the beginning of the match was a little slow, but then it started to pick up a little bit in like the last, I would say, like 5-6 minutes. Trish looked great out there. Like she looked fucking amazing out there for someone that hasn't really had a match in, quite a while. Like anytime she comes back, I don't think she's had like an actual match in a while. And
I think her last match was against I think Charlotte at SummerSlam.
Right, and that was when was that? 2019.
2019, yeah.
So she was really good in this match. Lita was a little slow. She was never really known as a great wrestler. She was an entertaining wrestler, like we just mentioned earlier. But like she's lost a lot of her speed. And again, she hasn't really had a match. Well, she had a match with Becky Lynch last year, so I'll forget that statement. But
and to win the tag titles,
right? Like she's lost.
She's just older. That's
which I can't. I'm not gonna knock her for it. So her speed was not as good as it should have been. Everybody else, Becky was fine, Bayley was fine, Damage Control was fine. So this match did what it needed to do. The faces won, so it was okay. Next is Rey Mysterio defeating Dominic. I fucking love this match from beginning, middle, end. It had everything I wanted out of it. The entrances alone, Dom coming out in the with the police escort, thought was fucking great, and then just coming out wearing Rey's mask from Halloween Havoc, which apparently that was Rey's mask from Halloween Havoc '97. And
I have to look at it again, but it didn't look like it to me. But yeah,
right. And it's just weird because he's wearing that mask, and I had one of those like duh moments where I'm like, holy shit, he does look like his dad when he's wearing that mask. So I thought the police escort was great. I thought Michael Cole was just really in his bag of just like trashing Dominic, of just saying, what does a little punk think he's doing? He hasn't earned that. And I'm just like, oh my god, I think Michael Cole actually hates Dominic. I thought that was awesome. And then Ray,
pretty well.
And then Ray coming out in Eddie's lowrider during my Snoop Dogg. First it comes out to Nothing But a G Thing by Dr. Dre and Snoop, which I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And then playing Eddie's theme, which not gonna lie, got me in the feels. Got me right here. As soon as I heard that theme, I was like, oh man, Eddie. And then it got to Ray's theme. Wasn't crazy about the mask. I'm not sure what that mask was supposed to be.
Tribute to the Great Muta.
Okay, all right, that's respectable.
And it was like a falcon too. Yeah. So.
And then just everything else about the match, just fan-fucking-tastic. Good back and forth action. When Ray started spanking Dominic with his belt, that got a huge reaction. Not just out of everybody in the building, but from everybody in this house. Like, we were just dying when we saw that. And the family being at ringside, Angie and Aaliyah just reacting to everything when Dom threw the drink right in Aaliyah's face. I thought that was fucking great.
That was great heat.
Good heat. And then, Angie smacking the shit out of him, which she was clearly holding back, because I know a lot of Latin moms, and they do not hold back when they slap their kids. So she was clearly holding back. So that was great. Bad Bunny being at the commentating booth, and I was like, okay, he's going to get involved somehow. Because this has to set up Backlash. It's going to be Puerto Rico next month. So awesome. And FTR just won, so good for them. And everything else about the match was great. Bad Bunny grabbing the chain from Dom, saying, no, we're not doing that. Ray getting the win. Because originally, I was thinking maybe Dom should win, so it can maybe do something for him a lot more than Ray. But, after Ray won, I'm like, all right, I'm fine with Ray winning. It's a feel-good moment. It's Ray's week. Dom can fight another day. He's... How old is Dom? Like 26?
I'm sorry?
How old is Dom? Do you know?
Don't know.
Let me actually have it right here. Let me just look up his name. He's he's 26. I got it right. Yeah, he's 26. So then they apparently want to put him over and make him look like a star. So I mean, he'll be fine in the future. This match made him look good. Like it's one of those occurrences of even if you lose, you still win. So good for Dom. Great match, second favorite match of the night. I'm almost positive that we're gonna agree on the next match. But talk about what'd you think about this match?
Fantastic match. I have this one my third best match of the night. The last three matches were like, if you say one was 1 or 2 or whatever, like I'm not gonna debate you because they're all that good for the right reasons. But yeah, great match, great story. You know, I was hoping Dom would win here, but you know that wasn't the story. Obviously, you know Ray winning, I'm completely fine with. And obviously this feud's going to continue here, and Dom Dom had some great heat in this match. Ray was the sympathetic babyface. It did all the right things, and very, very, very good match.
Great match. Moving on to me, match of the night, but also match of the weekend. Rhea Ripley defeating Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Holy fuck. Like this was such a good fucking match. To me, and this is just my opinion, I think this is maybe the best women's match I've ever seen. Just my opinion.
Okay.
Best women's match I've ever seen. Rhea obviously got the win, well deserved. But she had to work for it. It wasn't just handed to. It wasn't one of those matches of just like we know she's gonna win. But the match was just so. It was actually making me nervous, and that's how I knew this was a good match, because Rhea had to really work for it, and Charlotte made her work for it. And just again for the haters, people that say Charlotte sucks, like go fuck yourself, please. Charlotte's fucking great. She's the best women's wrestler going today. She might even be she might even be the greatest of all time. I do say might. And she made Rhea look like not even $1 million, $1 billion. Like just the action in here, like it's two women that work like men, and I mean that in a positive, in a good way, because they were just beating the shit out of each other. Like just the spots where I think Rhea was going for a riptide, and then Charlotte reversed into a DDT, and Rhea literally lands on her head.
Yeah, her ragdoll selling is next level.
I love that. For a girl her size, she is so fucking good at selling. And then there was the spot where Rhea drops Charlotte on her face, like ooh, and then Charlotte had I guess it was like a cut or like a scab on her nose. Like the match was making me nervous for so many reasons, but mainly because I'm like, oh, these two are making me nervous because they're really hurting each other. But I love the spots. I love the match. Especially love the riptide off the top rope. It was very draining, but in a good way. But love this match. So far, I know we're like barely in April. So far, it's my match of the year candidate. But what are your thoughts on this match?
Great match, possibly the best women's wrestling match at WrestleMania of all time. Very physical, very hard hitting. Rhea Ripley winning was the right option here as well, but they really laid into each other. They didn't hold back. That German that Rhea gave to Charlotte on her face and nose and all that good stuff there. But fantastic match. I can't really say much more about it, but it was very good. Now, with that being said, that is my second favorite match of the night. I like the main event more, but I just gave all the praise I did because I think it's the best women's wrestling match at WrestleMania of all time. And when it's all being said, could be women's match of the year. So great stuff from both ladies. Both work hard. Both made it look legitimate. Very happy with the outcome.
I don't know. Rhea to me is she's a generational talent. People like her, Roman. I'll throw Bianca in there as well. Theory's getting there. He's not there just yet, but he's getting there. I think they're generational talents.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a league of their own. So, Rhea's 25, and she's only going to get better. Like she has a long career ahead of her.
Not even in her prime yet.
Yeah, she hasn't even hit her prime. Charlotte's hit her prime, and I think she just turned 38 today.
Yeah, she doesn't have many years left. I'd probably say maybe less than 5.
Actually, let me look that up, because I think Brian Last was talking about it, or DT. Yeah, her birthday is today, and she's 37, actually.
Oh, okay. I still probably think maybe like 5, maybe 6 years.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I don't know, Marvel, DC, or somebody like nabs her up and says, "Hey, you want to make movies?"
Cool.
I mean, because she has movie star looks. So,
movie star looks, not movie star acting, though. That I will say.
We'll see. We'll see.
She can barely. I don't want to get into it, but I think she could cut her promo, but it's so robotic with her. I don't know unless she plays a robot in like the next Alien movie or something.
We'll see how that goes. Next, I wouldn't really count this as a match. I would say it was more of an appearance. The Miz versus Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee got the win. Yeah, it wasn't really a match, so I'm not gonna count that.
Yep, what you said. Yeah, I don't really have any comment about the match or what it was.
But it was nice seeing Pat McAfee. Main event time. Main event time. Tag team match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated the Usos.
Fantastic storytelling. Fantastic match. I think this was my match of the night, not the weekend, but of the night. Just great storytelling all the way through. To me, this is going to be the match that going down, WrestleMania is probably going to be the most talked about match coming out of night one, at least. That and the Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match, because both matches were fantastic. But the story that they told there with Sammy and Jay, and Sammy, just hitting those Luva kicks on him at the very end to get the 1-2-3 pinfall, and what's next for the Usos and all that from there. So I thought this match was really, really, really good, really good. I won't be surprised if 2 matches from WrestleMania get a 5-star rating from Meltzer. I'm not surprised. Like if 3 out of the 3, I think there's at least 3 matches that could get 5-star rating. This is one of them for sure. But
right,
very, very good match.
I liked it. I probably didn't like it as much as you. I'll explain why. For one thing, this deserved to be the main event. There's no doubt about it. The Bloodline storyline has been the biggest thing in the past. And that's including, Sammy and Kevin Owens being involved, and Cody is, which we'll get to Cody. It's been big since what is it? Since October when Sammy joined. It's the biggest storyline, and not just WWE but in wrestling. So they deserve to headline both nights. So good on Kevin Owens, who's in his second main event at WrestleMania, for the second year in a row. Last year he headlined with Steve Austin, and now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are in the main event, and the Usos are in the main event. So good for them. It wasn't really a problem, but something seemed off about the match in the first 7-8 minutes. I don't know, the pacing seemed kind of off, but then it started to pick up a little bit. I kind of maybe hearken that to maybe the audience was maybe a little drained after the Rhea and Charlotte match, because I know I was. But
I mean, it was the longest match of the show, I think, of night one. So usually in big epic matches like that, they usually start off slow for at least 5 minutes, so that way that the fans can, to your point, kind of catch their breath. Because if they just go balls to the wall, then I don't think they would have got the reaction at the end as they would have. So yeah, because I think that match, I think that match went close to 25 minutes. Same thing with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, but
right here.
But
Rhea and Charlotte went 23 minutes and 35 seconds. The main event went 24 minutes and 15 seconds.
Okay,
I think it was kind of the opposite. I think the match started off too hot, and then they kind of had to bring it down a little bit to maybe, like you just said, the audience to catch their breath. But again, it wasn't anything that took me out of the match. I just kind of went, there's something kind of off about this match. But it started to pick up a little bit more. The barrage of super kicks, I thought was okay, how many super kicks are we going to do in this match? But
it did more super kicks than the Young Bucks did in some of their matches this year.
Right, and I know it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm really not. I'm just pointing out little things, just little things that just was kind of like, maybe we should have done things a little differently here. But great storytelling. The match did what it needed to do. Like we talked about on the prediction show, it came down to Sammy and Jay, and Sammy doing 3 Halula kicks, and getting the win. Great emotional win. Sammy's wife was at ringside. So I thought that was great. I thought the match was good. I'm going to put Rhea and Charlotte as number 1. Ray and Dom is 2. I'm going to put this as my 3rd favorite match.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so again, really good match. Great storytelling. Just little few things that kind of I noticed about the match are a little off, but that's just my opinion. So now we're off to night 2. Let's see, the first match of the night for night 2, Brock Lesnar defeating Omos, and a very short match, 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
Might be a surprise, but I won't say I like this match, but it did the best that it was given with time. Kind of like with that tag team showcase. It was okay. It was okay. Omos, I won't say he looked great or good, but like he didn't embarrass himself out there. Brock's selling. Brock's probably one of the best sellers ever. Mm-hmm. And him hitting that 5 was predictable. You know what I mean? They didn't overstay its welcome, and they got right out of there. So I was okay with it.
I thought it was a good match, like you just said, with the time they had, because it's a Brock match. And you already know what you're getting in a Brock match. It can either be really entertaining, really good, or just, bleh. But this told a good story, almost working on the back of Brock and, it's classic wrestling. It's wrestling 101, work on the back to where, people are like, is Brock really going to be able to carry Omos? And eventually he F5'd Omos, which again, it's Brock, and it's still impressive to see right. Brock, lift a man that big, for an F5. So that was still impressive. Omos has a very interesting WrestleMania track record, because his debut match, he's with AJ Styles and he wins the tag titles. Last year he wrestled Bobby Lashley, and this year he wrestles Brock Lesnar. My only worry about him is like why can't they just give this guy a big win? I wasn't expecting him to beat Brock. I mean, it would have been nice, to kind of
I don't know about that, because it's like, were you gonna push him afterwards? Like,
I mean, it'd be nice to push him, because isn't that kind of the point?
Yeah. I wouldn't push Omos.
All right.
The tag team thing was fine with AJ, but outside of that, I wouldn't push him more than what he's doing right now.
Okay. This was it was a fine match. It did what it needed to do. Next is the Women's WrestleMania Showcase. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defeating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya and Shotzi, and Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
Just want to say real quick that I'm sure all these women worked hard on the show. The right team won. So with Rousey and Baszler, so the right team won. I'm sure they all worked hard in this match. You can see that they're working hard, but I can give 2 fucks about this match. Worst match of WrestleMania. Chelsea looked okay. She was doing some things in there that was I was impressed with, but she was doing some good stuff in there. And there was some other stuff that was like, okay, but outside of that, I just didn't care about this match. Again, no heat. There was no purpose for this match. This match had the winners of this match was supposed to be number 1 contenders, and last night is now the new number 1 contenders is Liv Morgan and not Shayna Baszler, but Raquel Rodriguez. So, and people saying that Vince McMahon's not there, or whatever the case may be, Monday was, like, I know we're going to talk about it. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to make it to there, because I'm starting to feel a little bit. But, this match didn't, at the end of the day, it didn't mean anything. Because you crown number 1 contenders, and now there's new number 1 contenders. So I want somebody to try to make it make sense It's for me why this match even occurred. Well, I can tell you why, because Triple H had one plan and Vince has another plan, so that's why, but anyway. Yeah, I can definitely go without it.
If you need to call it a night, just let me know, man. I can take things over.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this match sucked. I didn't care about this match. Like you said, I'm pretty sure everyone worked hard. But this match was just bad. It was BAD, bad overall. Again, we know Ronda Rousey. I honestly don't think Ronda Rousey is the star people make her out to be. She clearly
not in wrestling. Well, in the public eye, right? The casual eye, yes, but not in wrestling.
Right. She looks like she does not want to be there. Like she looks like she's just there for the paycheck, which is fine. But in this case, there's other people that maybe should be on television more than her. So, I mean, there was a point in the match where she didn't do anything for the whole match, and then she comes in and gets the win, and then for whatever reason, Shayna isn't wearing any boots. Like, that didn't make any sense.
I don't know what happened there, but clearly Ronda's still injured. Now, if Ronda's still injured, why put them in the match if you're going to let them win and not make them normal contenders? Or B, how come you can't just pick someone else to win? How come it could have just been Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan? I would have shot all over it, the choice of the winner, because the winner should be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, but at the same time, it's like, come on, give me a break.
And I actually like Chelsea Green. I like the character she's playing, because at least it's something that's working. Like, of all of like the big, I guess the bigger stars in the women's division, like Rhea, Bianca, Bayley. Oh, no, not Bayley. Well, not really Bayley. Becky. What was it? Charlotte. Outside of that, Chelsea is actually doing something. Like, it's working. And I like Sonya. I think Sonya is very underrated. And I also think she plays a good bitchy heel. So, other than that, this match sucked. I love Shotzi, but Shotzi's probably going to be the one driving the bus and not just on the bus out of here. Natalya just continues to look like the bad guy from The Mask. I guess not a very good match. I like Raquel, but Raquel does not need to be with Liv. Like Raquel teased that she's gonna go after Rhea, which that should be a good match, but Raquel needs more of an edge to her. If they're not gonna turn her heel, just make her more of a badass, like she was in NXT. Stop with the smiley Raquel. But this was bad. This is the worst match of the weekend. I'm gonna make this a worst match of the year candidate. Candidate, not winner, but candidate. Next is an improvement of the night. Gunther defeating Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for the Intercontinental title, or to retain the Intercontinental title.
This is my kind of wrestling. 3 men, big boys, just being the holy shit at each other. This is what I love. A legitimate looking match, something that that they're going to film in the morning. And again, this is going to be a match that a lot of people are going to remember from this WrestleMania from both nights. To me, my match of the night, I think this is a 5-star match. Possible match of the year candidate. This is a top, in my opinion, at least top 5, top 10. I know you probably say it's probably up there too as well. I know it's not even your match of the weekend, but
it's in my top 5. It's in my top 5.
Oh, okay. Well, I love this match to the T. Just the false finishes, the false finishes, the hard hitting action, the story that was being told with Sheamus trying to become a Grand Slam champion, and he didn't win, and and obviously they want to make Gunther the next the next final boss. And currently, right now, he is the final boss of the Intercontinental Championship division. So, fucking fantastic match. I know Meltzer loved this match because this is the type of match to say he likes. So, this was a very New Japan type match, and British Strong Style match. So where they're just chopping the shit out of each other and hitting each other for real with big clotheslines and lariats and power bombs and boots, and it's a legitimate looking match, and I'm sure all 3 guys felt it the next morning for sure. To me, my WrestleMania match of the weekend and also one of the best matches of the year so far. Probably put maybe top 3 at least, because I do like Omega and Ospreay. I know you didn't see the match, but fantastic match. Fucking Ospreay's head was just being driven through. His head was just being driven through a table till a hole was formed. But it's not about them. It's about these 3 here, and they did an excellent job.
I echo your sentiment. This is a great match. It's just 3, like Big E says, 3 meaty men slapping meat. Just chopping the shit out of each other. Like there was a point where they were just slapping the shit out of each other for a good 5 minutes, and it didn't really bother me as much as the barrage of super kicks in the main event. I was like, all right, this makes sense because they're all bruisers. They beat the shit out of each other, so I'm fine with it. My only problem with triple threat matches is I hate when this is for all triple threat and fatal 4-way matches, is when there's a point where 1 or 2 guys just conveniently goes missing for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that, but I get why they have to do that, but I hate when they do it. But I mean, this is for all multi-man matches, but it didn't take away my like for this match. I loved it. There was a point where I thought Sheamus was going to win, just so they can give him his WrestleMania moment and they can add the Intercontinental title to his repertoire, because he's never won the Intercontinental title. I don't think Drew needed to win it. Drew's Drew. They're still going to treat him like a star. And I was fine with Gunther winning it, because they're treating him like a fucking star. I think they're going to have him break Honky Tonk Man's record.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves it, and like you said, he's the final boss of that division. Whoever beats him has to be someone that looks like they can beat Gunther. And again, we know it's wrestling; it's predetermined, but aesthetically, there has to be somebody that looks like they can go toe to toe with Gunther and actually beat him, legit in the ring, and not just a bullshit finish. Because I know people, they're thinking, Sheamus can win by just pinning Drew. Gunther doesn't have to be beat, maybe, but I don't know. If you really want to build someone up that looks like he can kick Gunther's ass, that helps. But this is a great match. For the whole weekend, I would say it's going to be in my top 5. Where I'm going to place it, I don't know. I need to think about that. But great match, delivered. It did everything it needed to do. Tyson, what the fuck's his name? O'Neal. What the fuck's his name?
Titus O'Neal.
Titus O'Neal, I think, should probably never be on commentary, because every time he reacted to something, it sounded like he was, sitting on his keys. Just not even just that, just him. He was doing way too much. Call the police.
Yeah, that wasn't necessary at all.
I love Tyrus. What the fuck is his name? Is it Tyrus?
Titus O'Neal.
I keep saying Titus. Jesus Christ, Titus. I love Titus. I think he's a great human being. I think he's a good dude. I heard he's a good dude, but he just probably that was not for him. He should have never been on commentary. That shouldn't have happened. But moving on, Bianca Belair defeated Asuka to retain the Raw Women's Championship.
Not as good as Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, but this is a pretty decent women's match. Right person won. Well, I don't know if you say right person won, but Bianca, I predicted Bianca to win. We'll just say that. And yeah, I thought they did what they needed to do here, and it wasn't insulting. Could have been better, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of a little let down because I just would have figured that this match would have at least tried to top Charlotte and Rhea, because I love Bianca. I think Bianca's great, even though fair criticism. I've said she's been very one note as of late. Asuka has lost a lot of steam since coming back of the Rumble. She went from being, this is a newer, more badass gimmick for Asuka, and now she's back to being dancy and spitting Miss Asuka. Okay, whatever. I just thought both girls would have saw that match and went, okay, let's try to top that. it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't necessarily a great match. It was an okay match. It was kind of a by the numbers type of match. And I've been using that terminology a lot through this review. But a lot of these matches are on the show, it's by the numbers. And, for anyone that doesn't know what by the numbers means, it kind of just means basically what I said. Just, it was okay. It was kind of a generic match. Which maybe sounds a little too insulting for Bianca, but you knew Bianca was going to win. With Charlotte and Rhea, you thought Rhea should win, but you were nervous because you're like, what if they give it to what if they let Charlotte win this? Because that's how nerve-wracking the match was. Because you're like, is Charlotte actually going to win this match? Oh shit! And then Rhea won. With this match, you're like, yeah, Bianca's winning it. Like, she's retaining. This has no heat on it. Not even to say that Charlotte and Rhea's feud had any heat, other than like the big brawl. Like, this feud really had no heat. So, Bianca won. The right woman won. And a little side note. So for Bianca's entrance, she had a lot of younger girl dancers that were actually from the local area. Dancer to the ring. Well, not dancer to the ring, but they were at the entrance and she came out. The little girl who was the contortionist, she did the contortionist act, whatever. Her mom had passed away that day.
Right. Yeah.
Triple H announced it on the conference, and I mean he was getting choked up talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Which is that's understandable, because Triple H is a dad and he has kids, so it was emotional. And just for, I guess the silver lining in this is the little girl got to go to WrestleMania and be with Bianca Belair.
Yeah, she's always gonna be WrestleMania forever. That she gets to tell her kids and stuff, and kind of what that day means to her and her family. So yeah.
So and Bianca, love her. Seems like a sweetheart. She doesn't have that fake niceness to her. She legit seems like she's a nice person. Just her and Montez, they seem like a really nice couple that you want to meet and you want to hang out with, because they just seem like they're a lot of fun to be around. So,
right.
Next is again not a match. Well, probably the biggest fuck up moment of the weekend, or probably the whole year
of WrestleMania history.
So again, Miz and Snoop Dogg came out.
This is like fucking Shockmaster. That's how bad it was.
Oh yeah. And then Miz was pissed off at Snoop Dogg for making a match yesterday, and then Snoop Dogg said, my bad, and Miz was like, you're bad? He's like, no, I mean my bad. And then Shane McMahon's music hits, and I just went, and I groaned. I went, ugh. That's the surprise? The surprise was Shane. Not Steve Austin, not maybe have The Undertaker come out and do a tombstone, not LA Knight, not Bobby Lashley came out to present the fucking trophy but didn't have a match. But no, we get sweaty Shane, who then proceeded to blow out his fucking knee.
Blow out his quad.
Quad, there you go. In the fucking match, to where the referee had to call an audible, and you can actually see you can hear as clear as day her telling Snoop Dogg, "Can you do a people's elbow?" And he does. And that was so bad. But good on them. Good. That's what you fucking get for doing that shit. That's what you get for bringing back Sweaty Shane. No one wants Sweaty Shane.
So, Drew, I'm gonna head out of here. I'm not feeling high now. I thought it was gonna be okay, but yeah, it's starting to come on me. But I really want to talk about the main event. But yeah, we'll just. We're not gonna talk about it next week, so just whatever. But I want to talk about the news of the year so far with Vince coming back or whatnot. But I'll listen to the rest of the show here off of here, and enjoy. Sorry guys, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. I need to get some rest tomorrow before I go back to work. So
it's all good, brother. Rest up and get better, dude.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. You guys have a great night and continue your good show, Drew.
No problem, man. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right, guys. All right, it's little old me. Haven't done a solo show in a while. I'm gonna try and see if I can get some other people on. So, bear with me. If not, I'll just have to steer the ship, which is no biggie. Alright. So we got 2 more matches left. Alright. Oh, shit, I lost the card. Alright, so we got 2 more matches left. First being the Hell in a Cell match with Edge and Finn Balor. The Demon Finn Balor. This wasn't really a bad match. Or really a good match. This is a weird match. Because just so much shit happened. We'll begin with the entrances. So, Edge came out, doing the Brood entrance minus the actual Brood theme, and what was apparently a Slayer song, and I've never heard a Slayer song in my life. So, all my friends who love Slayer, please forgive me. Okay. Alright, just reading a text. But, the entrance was cool. I just thought it was, the mask was weird. The mask didn't really aesthetically make sense to whatever he was trying to do. I thought it was just going to be him wearing, the Brood glasses and whatever. The rumor was that Gangrel was supposed to show up because apparently he was in town, and then apparently we might have gotten, Christian, on loan from Tony. But, shame on us for believing dirt sheet writers. I thought the entrance was cool, but just the mask was weird. I didn't get what that was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a mix of Iron Man and Game of Thrones or whatever. And then it goes to, Alter Bridge, which, whatever. Which, I say whatever because, not that I don't like the theme, but, the build-up of the match that Edge, built up was that it was supposed to be, he was I'm going to show my dark side, and, you bring your dark side, Finn. And then he just, I don't know. It would have been nice if he just came out to the Brood theme, and then he's just Brood Edge, as it was saying on the Titantron. And then Finn comes out, as the demon, which, to me, here's what I wanted, is that since Finn's supposed to be or he's a heel, and he's coming back as a demon, I would have figured that maybe he adds a new spin to the demon character. Maybe make it a little bit more darker. When Finn was overseas, or I don't want to say overseas, well, I guess overseas and, the indies or whatever, he would do a lot of, cosplay, but it was actually cool cosplay. He would come out and, paint of, Marvel characters, like Venom, Carnage. I remember one time he came out as Bane and wore, the jacket. There was one time where he came out as the Joker, and Hannibal Lecter, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know, maybe for copyright reasons, WWE can't do that, but it's just do a variation of that at least. But when he's the demon, for one, I always call it the interpretive dancing demon. He has to keep throwing his hands up in the air and sticking his tongue out, and it's also not very scary. For a character that's called the demon, it's can you be scary or creepy at least? Be creepy. Finn has the facials to at least be creepy, but that just, nah. The artwork on the back I thought was pretty cool, but other than that, this match was not very good. I wouldn't say it's my worst pick of the night, or even the whole weekend. I'm gonna sound like Jim Cornette here for a second. So, for a Hell in a Cell match, and also they brought back the old cell, not the fucking giant red milk carton or milk crate, Hell in a Cell, whatever the fuck that is. They brought back the old school, Hell in a Cell, which I thought was cool. It's do you really need weapons? And I get it, maybe a steel chair here and there, but do you need this barrage of weapons in a Hell in a Cell match? The Hell in a Cell should be its own weapon. And I get they can't bleed, but you can still beat the shit out of somebody with the cell. you can still do a lot of damage with the cell. And just, well, yeah, Finn did. Finn definitely did. He paid the price. I guess we'll just skip to like the big part of the match. So Edge goes for, or not goes for, but like he grabs a ladder and hits Finn with it, and Finn gets busted open. And they had to stop the match, which, again, I'm like, okay, it's Hell in a Cell, and there's no bleeding in hell, apparently. And the crowd got pissed off. I'm like, just let him finish the fucking match. Come on. Just let it happen. It's just blood. It's fine. Not knowing that that Finn got a fucking giant gash on the top of his head. Like, Jesus Christ. And when I saw that, I went, okay, I get it. But I don't know, just Edge having to kind of like having to scramble and just try to buy time. The last spot of the match where, you know, Finn puts Edge on the table and then he jumps onto the cage, I'm like, is he actually gonna like jump off, like hang on the cage and then find a way to jump on? Because that'd be impressive. But he gets on that little, like, what do you call it? I guess like stand that they just conveniently placed on that side of the cage. And I remember thinking, like, when the hell did that get there? I don't remember that there. So he does the coup de grace, which I'm like, okay, if he can pull that off, that should be the end of the match. I mean, it technically was the end of the match, but he didn't pull it off. Like, Edge got out of the way and got the pin, which I mean, I guess. And I say I guess because, you know, you're trying to build the Judgment Day up as threats, and, you know, Finn loses a lot of matches. Like, at this point, Finn is kind of old news. So, I don't know. Personally, like, again, from a business sense, I think maybe Finn should have won the match. Because Edge doesn't really need to win matches. I guess from a storyline perspective, it makes sense because, you know, Edge got his you know, revenge on Finn. Finn got his comeuppance. But it's just, looking at the Judgment Day now, it's like, you know, Rhea is the star, clearly. She's the leader of the Judgment Day. She got her WrestleMania moment. Dom is the second most over guy in the faction, but he lost. You know, Damien hasn't really been doing much, but, you know, pretty soon he will. And then Finn's just kind of like the odd man out. But yeah, this match was what it was. There wasn't really anything memorable about it other than, you know, Finn getting cut up and WWE having to stop the match, but it was what it was. Now we're on to the main event. Roman Reigns, the champion, versus the challenger and the winner of the 2023 men's battle, or I was going to say battle royal, men's Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes. Okay, so let's talk about this match. So what do you want to talk about, people? So this match. Big entrances. Well, Cody didn't really get a big entrance. I mean, his entrance in general is kind of big because, you know, he's pretty much using up like a chunk of their pyro budget. Both guys are, actually. And I just figured he would have maybe gotten more of a WrestleMania grandiose entrance. Like, I don't know, maybe fly down from a helicopter or something. I don't fucking know. Or maybe have the band of his theme play him to the ring. That would have been interesting. Roman coming out to piano players, which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, I know there's pianos in his theme, but I don't know. It was kind of like putting a hat on a hat, if that makes sense. But, you know, I mean, Roman's theme is already long in general. Why do you need a band to play him out? So, whatever. So, Roman comes out. They wrestle. And, it was a near-perfect match. Until the end. And we'll get to the end. There was some good chain wrestling, some good mat wrestling, good storytelling. I forgot to note that Brody Lee Jr. Was at ringside with Cody's family, which I thought was pretty cool that he invited him down there. So I think it's nice of Cody to still keep in contact with, you know, Brody's family. I've already seen the fucking memes and posts about how, you know, Amanda Huber is a traitor and she turned her back on AEW and you're a traitor and I hate you and your family sucks and I wish you would die and blah, 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 blah. There are people that are literally doing that. I wish I were kidding. Yeah. So he gives his weight belt to Brody Jr., which was cool. That belt will come in handy later on in the match. Again, near perfect match. There were some good spots. A lot of the match kind of went the way I was hoping it would, where Roman is not taking Cody seriously. The whole time he's smiling at him like, really? You're Stardust. You're always going to be Stardust to me. And then just Cody, he's continuing to come at Roman like he's Rocky. And just surprising Roman at every turn. Like anytime, and just good false finishes, good use of false finishes. Cody would go for a crossroads. He'd go for a Cody cutter, false finish. Roman would go for a spear, false finish. Superman punch, false finish. And Roman just has that look on his face of like, how am I going to beat this guy? Like, I liked Roman's facials of just like, how is this guy almost... How am I not putting this guy away? I should have put this guy away already. And just... One of my favorite spots I thought was cool was when Roman went for the guillotine and he's trying to choke Cody out with all his might. And then Cody just slowly pulls his head out from under Roman's shoulder. Or not shoulder, but his arms. And just starts punching him. Because I think that's when the crowd really went, Cody's going to win this. I think Cody's going to win this. Like, me and the missus and her sister were like really getting hyped in this match. Like, because I was pro Cody. I mean, I like Roman, but I was pro Cody. They were more pro Roman, but I think they were starting to kind of like turn a corner of like, I think we like Cody. It had everything you wanted. Good storytelling. The David versus Goliath storytelling, which is Wrestling 101 if you do it right. Solo, did this happen before or after? Oh yeah, Solo getting involved, doing heel antics on the outside while the ref's not looking. The ref can't really do much about it. And then finally he takes the weight belt from Brody Lee Jr., that dastardly fiend, and smacks Cody on the back with it. The ref hears it and throws his ass out. So I'm like, all right, cool. Mid finish. We'll get to the finish. And then we get to the ref knocked out spot, which I just went, okay, here we go. This can either go really good or really bad. The Usos come out and attack Cody and give him the 1D. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out to kind of level the playing field, which I'm like, all right, cool. Here's what I really didn't like about that is when they go after Roman. Because when you're doing a spot like that where like the faces come out to level the playing field for the face against the heel, that's kind of the point. Because I was figuring, okay, they're going to go after the Usos and get them the fuck out of the match. So that way the match can continue. But when they went after Roman, I'm like, I don't know if they should have done that. And then when Cody's pitting Roman, I'm like, okay, they're definitely not going to let Cody win off of that. Because that's going to make Cody's win look cheap. And luckily they didn't. But I still wish they kind of just would have came in and just to take out the Usos and not go after Roman. Because, they're done with Roman. Their problem is with the Usos. And then, Cody goes for his triple crossroads. 1, 2, and then Heyman gets on the top rope to distract the ref, which I'm like, okay, they really want to add a lot of Gaga in this match, which I expected. And then Solo gets in. As soon as I saw Solo come in the ring, I went, oh no. And then he gives the Samoan spike to Cody. Roman goes for the spear. 1, 2, 3. And okay, for weeks, matter of fact, for weeks, for months, we had been all agreeing that Roman's more than likely going to win, partly due to, or not even partly, mainly due to the fact that 1,000 Days is coming up pretty soon. Actually, on May 27th, which is going to be the King of the Ring pay-per-view. Because they want Roman to pass up that record. And with Cody, I know my co-host, Justin would be saying this a lot. that since Cody has come back, he hasn't really struggled. Like, he hasn't really... You don't get the feeling that he's really earned this top spot, but he's more so been handed the spot. Like, in the Rumble, I was convinced that he was going to come out a lot earlier. Like, I pitched the idea of, why not have Cody come out at 1? So that way his moment feels that much special. But, he apparently said that he got cleared literally the day of the Rumble. So I don't know if maybe Triple H was like, let's take it easy on you because I don't want you to get hurt again. Which I understand, but it's like you could have had him come out maybe like 20, 18. But at 30, you basically just handed him the fucking spot. So I'm fine with Cody losing because you still have more of a story to tell with Cody and Roman. My only problem is the finish, because the finish just seemed very cheap. Because, we're never going to see a dominance like this with Roman or with anyone in a while. But to me, it almost kind of like... It almost like makes his legacy look a little cheap. Because it kind of continues the fact of, like, he always needs somebody to help him win. Like, every time it looks like he's going to lose, he always has somebody help him win. It's either the Usos or Solo or Heyman. So I didn't like that finish. I would have liked it better if Roman just won fair and square, just won clean as a sheet. And then the story, the next night on Raw, which they kind of did, was Cody telling Roman, I almost beat you. I almost beat you. And then that plants doubt in Roman's head, and also with the bloodline of them looking at him and like, well, Cody did almost beat you. Like, you're a vulnerable tribal chief. And by the time Cody gets that rematch, Roman, has been wanting that rematch so he can prove to everyone that, Cody didn't almost beat him, that he just got lucky. So I didn't love the match. I thought the match was perfect up until the end. But we'll get into Raw. We won't really talk too much about Raw. Only really like the big points. But that was WrestleMania, people. For the whole weekend, I would say Rhea and Charlotte was my favorite match of the whole weekend. Second favorite being Rey and Dominic. Third favorite being the main event of Night 2, Roman and Cody. And then the fourth being the main event of Night 1, the tag match. Fifth being Gunther and Sheamus. Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental title. So, worst match of the whole weekend. The women's WrestleMania showcase, that was just bad. Again, me and Justin talked about it. I'm sure all women worked hard. This was just bad. It was a match that had no heat on it. I mean, granted, the men's tag team match didn't have any heat on it, but that delivered. That delivered and then some. This match just missed its mark, like, bad. Like, just, it fell flat on its face. So, bad match. I'm at the point where I'm good on not really seeing most of these women after this match. If I don't have to see Ronda anymore, I'm fine. If I don't have to see Shayna, even Shotzi, as much as I love Shotzi as a person, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see her. Or Natalya. This is a bad match. And, I'll give, Night 1 was obviously the best night. Like, hands down. Night 2 was bleh. Bleh. Other than 2 matches, the match was, the rest of the night was bleh. So overall, for the whole weekend, I would give WrestleMania, I'll give it a B-. I mean, Night 1 was already an A+, but Night 2 kind of brought it down to a B-. So, we're going to go with that. Oh, man. So, those are the shows. Had a lot of news. So for Raw, let's talk about Raw for a little bit. Again, I won't really get too much into Raw. I'm only going to talk about, like, the shining points. So, the show opens with Roman coming out. Actually, it opens with Triple H coming out to talk about... Actually, let's talk about the merger real quick. So, on Sunday, it was announced that Endeavor was rumored to close up a deal with WWE as soon as Monday morning, and on Monday morning they did so. I am on Bleacher Report. WWE and UFC, which is owned by Endeavor, are merging to form a $21 billion global live sports and entertainment company. With the transaction, UFC was valued at $12.1 billion, and WWE had a valuation of $9.3 billion. Together, we will be a 21 plus billion live sports and entertainment powerhouse with a collective fan base of more than 1 billion people and an exciting growth opportunity. Vince McMahon said. The new company will... I don't really need to hear the rest of this shit. Endeavor will have a 51% controlling interest, with the remaining 49% spread across WWE shareholders. What else? So basically, the WWE... This is the first time the WWE is on a family-owned company. So Vince is not really in charge. He has his own bosses to answer to. I believe he's above Dana White, last I heard, as far as like this business venture goes. He's still going to be the executive chairman for WWE. Nick Khan is the CEO. Triple H will be in creative, kind of, sort of, maybe. Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, it'd be a lot easier to have somebody to talk this about. But I guess my quick thoughts about it. I mean, good. I know we were kind of worried about Saudi Arabia possibly buying WWE, because I remember talking to him with Ruben, where I was like, you know, again, the whole Saudi Arabia WWE thing, I've kind of grown past it. But like, as far as Saudi Arabia owning WWE, I think financially, it's like, other than like the money, what could Saudi Arabia have done with WWE? Like, the business deal wouldn't have made sense. Like, it would have made more sense to WWE go with like Disney, for example, or Fox, Comcast. It makes sense now for Endeavor. Endeavor owns UFC. UFC is still a hot commodity. So for them to now merge that with UFC, it's good. We dodge a bigger bullet with WB and Discovery. Oh, yeah. So I think this is good for WWE, depending how you look at it. I know a lot of people are kind of looking at the possibility of, in the future, we might have to start paying for pay-per-view events again. Last I checked, I forgot who posted this on Twitter, that the Peacock deal is still going on for another 3 years, so that's good. But who knows if they might even start upcharging people. But I mean, also another thing is just like, if they're smart, they'll keep the Peacock deal, or even if the Peacock deal ends, I think they know people are not going to want to pay, $40 to watch, I don't know, fill in the blank, Backlash, or some like, bullshit pay-per-view in the middle of July. Nobody's going to want to pay that much money for that. People, more than likely, there's going to be people that are rather going to want to spend money on the bigger pay-per-views like Mania, Rumble, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam, and maybe Money in the Bank. So I don't know. Like, I'm not very business savvy. I mean, it's just one of those things. I'm like, we'll see where this goes. It's it's UFC. Maybe this can have an influence on their television. Maybe we might be seeing a more edgier product. Maybe they'll start allowing blood. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not saying overdo it like fucking AEW has been doing. I'm saying more just like, if there's blood, then there's blood. Or when the time calls for it, allow blood. Like if there's a beatdown, or if there's like a Hell in a Cell match or a hardcore match. Just, let there be blood. Let there be blood. So that's really my thoughts on that. So for Raw, the show opens with Triple H coming out and just addressing the sale and saying, "We're not going anywhere." And then proceeds to bring out Roman, which Roman gets a lot of heel heat. And Roman just, cheesing up and smiling and saying, I proved everyone wrong. Yada, yada, yada. Cody comes out and just says what I thought he was going to say, which I knew he was going to say, which I'm happy, telling Roman, the better man won, but I almost beat you. I had you, and if it wasn't for your cousin, I would be the champion. And, telling Roman, I want another match. And, Paul Heyman saying, when do you want this hypothetical rematch? And he's saying, tonight. And then Heyman saying, no, not tonight, not in Saudi Arabia, not in Puerto Rico. And pretty much just naming the locations of the next pay-per-views, which I thought was cool. And then Cody saying, fine, since we're all here, how's about a tag match? And he's saying, like, okay, well, I forget, did he add a stipulation to it? I read the stipulation was like, like you need, whoever is dumb enough to team with you, then you'll never receive another title shot or something like that. I forgot. And then Brock came out, which, again, I was like, oh shit, Brock? We're going to have Brock in a tag match? Which, immediately, my bullshit alarm kind of went off, because I'm like, alright, this seems way too good to be true. Because they're not just going to have Brock come out for any old reason. Like, there has to be an angle or something behind this. And we'll get to the main event. And just the Bad Bunny spot where, Ray comes out and talks about the big win. And, Austin Theory comes out to talk shit, saying, I just beat a legend like John Cena. And, what's another legend? What's another Hall of Famer to add to my repertoire? Which, just paraphrasing. But him and Ray wrestle, and they had a good match. Kind of figured the Judgment Day would get involved. Ray's about to go for a 619, and then Dominic is hanging on the apron to distract Ray. And then as Ray goes for the 619, Austin counters it into a what does he call it? 8-town down? Is the finisher called 8-town down? Anyone? But gets the win. Dominic attacks Ray, and then Ray notices Bad Bunny, gets in his face, and they're talking shit in Spanish. And I hear Bad Bunny saying, I thought I did the right thing. And as Dom's walking away, he says something. He says, like, papi, your papi or something. And then, Dom turns on to take a swing at him, and Bad Bunny, catches it and, punches Dom in the face. Damien grabs Bad Bunny and throws him over the rail, and the whole time they're just like, he looks like he doesn't want to hit him. He's like, come on, man. Like, you shouldn't have gotten involved. And then, proceeds to beat up Bad Bunny and choke slams him through the table, which that choke slam looked nasty. Like, that looked like a gnarly choke slam. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bad Bunny legit got hurt. I mean, in storyline fashion, they said he had a dislocated elbow. I don't know if maybe that was true or not, but it wouldn't be surprising if he actually did get hurt somehow. So there's your Backlash match. Ray and Bad Bunny versus Priest and Dom. So there's one of your Backlash matches. There's one of your co-main events, people. Let me pull up the Raw card real quick. And not that there's really much to talk about the show. The show was very bleh. It was just bleh. A very bleh Raw after WrestleMania. So let's see. Okay, are we getting the matches? I hate these websites that just show random videos. Okay, what the fuck? Why can't I find a good website with better results? Okay, so Omos defeated Elias in a squash. I already talked about Rey Mysterio. Sami Zayn and KO come out and address the crowd and basically just do an open challenge. Dawkins and Montez appear, and they had a tag match with the tag championships. Again, match was fine. I don't say fine. It was a good match. It was an entertaining match. My only worry, not really worry, criticism is just like, I thought the Street Profits had a lot of momentum coming out after, their Mania match. I didn't expect him to win, but just the fact that Montez Ford got got pins like cleanly. It would have made more sense if maybe like Sammy goes for a roll up to maybe keep that momentum going for him. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't know if I don't know if maybe Montez. I think Montez botched the spot with the Galula kick. So because like when Kevin Owens stunned him, he just kind of stood there, and I don't know if maybe he forgot that he was supposed to fall back, but he just stood there, and then Sami Zayn just gave him this look like, really, like you're supposed to fall back. So then he shoves him to the ropes, and then he runs back and does a Lulu kick. So good match. I just kind of wish it would had a different outcome. Well, a different ending. I'll just put it that way. Bobby Lashley was in the back talking shit to Bronson Reed. Apparently they're going to wrestle next week, so that'll be fun to watch. And then Mustafa Ali came out to talk shit, and then Bobby Lashley decided to drag his ass to the ring, so that was kind of funny. And then he beats him. Bianca Belair comes face to face with Rhea Ripley to what at first it kind of seemed like, are they really teasing that they're going to possibly combine both titles together, which I think that's a SummerSlam match. Like, that's essentially a SummerSlam match. Maybe one of the co-main events, combine both belts. I mean, it could be a Mania match, but at this point, who do you put in front of Bianca and Rhea, for the time being? So I think that's a SummerSlam match, which I'm looking forward to that. Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Winner earns a shot at the WWE Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan and Raquel win. So we got that to look forward to next week. The Miz comes out and talks about how he's tired of being disrespected and that he doesn't want any surprises, yada, yada, yada. To which you knew there was going to be someone coming out. Just figured it'd be someone, I don't know, more interesting to watch. Riddle comes out. Riddle makes his comeback. I mean, it's good to see Riddle. I mean, hey, as long as he stays out of trouble, keeps his nose clean, just keeps his head on straight, I'm fine with it. But the big surprise of tonight was Riddle. I mean, not even like Cameron Grimes, at least. Or, I mean, I know it's not Jay White, especially tonight anymore. But whatever. And now we get to the main event, or supposedly the main event, which was supposed to be a tag match with Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns and Solo. And as they're doing the intros, right when they get to Cody's intro, that's when Brock completely annihilates fucking Brock Lesnar. Or not, no, Brock Lesnar annihilates Cody. Jesus Christ. He's going to annihilate me for saying that. Yeah, that was pretty fucking rough to watch, because like Brock beat the fuck out of Cody. Like, that was probably one of the worst beatdowns I've seen in a while. Like, he just beats the fuck out of him. Like, just the fuck out of him. And I'm thinking in my head, like, does Cody owe Brock some money? Like, does he owe him money? Did Brock lose like $1 million on the main event, and that's why he's pissed off at Cody? Like, I'm intrigued to hear. I'm intrigued to hear what the reasoning behind Brock's disdain for Cody is. I don't know. Maybe he hates his neck tattoo. I don't know, but maybe Cody stole his idea for the neck tattoo. I don't fucking know. But I mean, that was pretty fucking gnarly to watch. Just him beating the fuck out of Cody, and just everyone trying to stop Brock. And that's what at least I liked about it, was like, when they do these beatdown spots, you never see anyone out there. You never see any security, referees, or anybody out there to stop it. With this, they were trying to stop it, but it's like Brock is this monster of a man. So who's gonna stop that fucker? Nobody. Like, I don't care if it's kayfabe and I'm just an extra. If Brock is running at me, I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm running out of the arena. I'm like, there's no amount of money you can pay me to have Brock run at me, because that fucker is scary. I don't care how old he gets. Like, he's in his mid 40s, and he's still a scary looking motherfucker. I do not want a pissed off Brock Lesnar to run at me. Holy shit. And just at the end, when like they're trying to get him on the gurney, and you see Brock come out and take off his gloves and flip everybody off. So That's a good example of how you flip people off. Paige or Soraya, whatever your fucking name is. But I mean, that's possibly your main event for Backlash. It's a nice way to keep Cody busy until SummerSlam. I mean, it's just, you know, we're talking about Cody not having any struggles. Where there you go, there's Brock Lesnar. That's your biggest struggle, Brock Lesnar. Whether he wins or loses, people are going to look at Cody and say, "Hey, he went toe-to-toe with Brock," and he came out, you know, walking. He's a star. He's a tough motherfucker. And then maybe after that, you have him feud with Solo. And then, okay, since we're already done with Raw, so another way for Cody to really build up his legacy. So as I mentioned earlier, the 1,000 day mark is going to eclipse on May 27th, which is the day of the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view in Saudi. I don't think Cody's actually going to win the title in Saudi Arabia. I mean, again, that would be kind of cheap. Like, if he's going to win, it's going to be in America. It's going to be America. And it's going to be at a bigger pay-per-view event. I think he's going to win the King of the Ring. And me and RJ had talked about this. For the King of the Ring, especially in 02, like the 02 King of the Ring, Brock Lesnar won. He not only won the King of the Ring, he won a title shot, which was at SummerSlam against The Rock, another Samoan. This King of the Ring, it's an actual pay-per-view. It's not just like King of the Ring on, you know, Raw or SmackDown or main event, you know, fill in the blank. It's an actual pay-per-view. So I don't know how many matches are going to be. I don't know if maybe they're going to have qualifying matches leading up to the show, or if the whole show is just going to be a King and the Queen of the Ring tournament, which that would be pretty fucking cool. Because we haven't had those in a while. Sorry, I have something in my eyes, like, red for whatever fucking reason. Have Cody win. Have Cody win the King of the Ring. And then the stipulation is whoever wins King of the Ring, whoever wins Queen of the Ring, gets a future title shot. You know, enough said. You know, Cody's been building up his legacy. Cody's been struggling. You know, he had to... Yeah, Queen of the Ring versus Cody. Liv Morgan versus Cody. No, I'm playing. But, you know, Cody's had so much adversity. He had to go through Brock, and that's like 1,000 points for adversity. And, you know, he wrestled an entire tournament in one day. Let's just say, hypothetically, the King and Queen of the Ring tournament was one day. And there's like 8 matches. You know, Cody wrestled a shit ton of matches in one day. And he struggled against some like legit opponents. And let's say the finals was him and Solo. And he beat Solo. And, like, again, Cody struggled. And he beat Solo and he earned it. He actually struggled to win a match in a tournament. And then goes on to face Roman at SummerSlam, because I don't believe there's a pay-per-view in June. Actually, let me double check that. Serious question, with all the weird Rock Instagram clips, you feel like Rock will get involved sooner than later? That's a good question. I think The Rock... I think that's a thing maybe served for SummerSlam, personally. Or not SummerSlam. Mania. There you go. Which, let me pull up the pay-per-view card while I answer that question. So, that's a Mania match. That doesn't need to be a title match. And I'm kind of glad it wasn't this year. Because, like I said, that doesn't need to be a title match, because we knew, even if The Rock did face Roman at Mania, he wasn't going to win. Like, the whole point of that feud, if it ever does happen, or when it does happen, to me is it's more so about bragging rights. It's more so about, you know, Roman's like, you know, on the head of the table, and The Rock would just kind of chuckle and go, "That's cute. I built the table. I also bought the house. And I own the neighborhood that you're in, so nice try." do I definitely think he's going to get involved? I think he will. I mean, I think WWE would be fools not to let that happen. Or to... Did I say that right? I mean, WWE would be fools if they didn't already have an idea of that happening. Like, that has to happen sooner than later. I mean, because, like, it's The Rock, and it's Roman. And Roman's saying that he's the head of the table, he's the tribal chief. For someone like The Rock is like, oh, really? Like, that has to happen sometime. Whether it's at the Rumble, or whether The Rock shows up at the Rumble, whether he shows up at Mania, which is the odds-on choice. And also, it's the 40th Rumble. I keep saying the Rumble. 40th Mania next year. So, what bigger main event of either night 1 or night 2? Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And again, Roman doesn't need to be champion. Because that feud supersedes a title. It's only about the title of bragging rights of who's the real tribal chief, who's the real head of the table, who's the real badass in this Samoan legacy. But let me pull up the pay-per-views of 2023. Hold on. Alright, WWE pay-per-views. Alright, here we go. Alright. Backlash May 6th. King and Queen of the Ring May 27th. Battleground will be May 28th, NXT. And Lowell, Massachusetts, so Joe's neck of the woods. I think that's the same day of an AEW pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. It was a double or nothing, so it's going to be a busy wrestling week. Hopefully Tony doesn't have another panic attack. They stole my weekend! Oh, Daddy, they stole my weekend! Do something, Daddy! Hell, just making announcements. There you go. July 1st is Money in the Bank. Okay, so there's no pay-per-views in June, but there is in literally the beginning of July. So July 1st, Money in the Bank, and then August 5th is SummerSlam, and then no pay-per-view announcements from after that. So, cool. A few more news tidbits. We're going to get a little serious here for a minute. Let me check on Spreaker real quick. Alright. So, Rick Steiner. Oh boy, Rick Steiner. On Friday, there was a WrestleCon in town. Because I know the Steiners were at the Hall of Fame. That same day, there was a WrestleCon. I think it was Saturday later that evening. Might have been earlier that day. Giselle Shaw, who is a transgendered wrestler, female transgender wrestler, she put something on her social media. This was for International Transgender Day of Visibility. And she... Oh boy. I know it's in context, but I'm not going to repeat most of what's on here, so I'm just going to kind of give you the skinny of it. So, Giselle Shaw said that she walked into the room where they were having the WrestleCon with all the wrestlers and whatnot, and she starts hearing somebody yell just very derogatory, just heinous, awful things to her, and she had no idea where it was coming from. Like, I mean, we've all had that happen to us where, like, somebody's either yelling something at us or just yelling to us, like, hey, hey, hey. Like, we know it's coming in our direction, we just don't know where it's coming from or who it's coming from. So she goes up to somebody and says, do you hear that? Someone's saying something. And they're like, I think they're saying it to you. And she turns around, and it's Rick Steiner. And she had mentioned, a lot of the wrestlers and, legends there were just turning a blind eye to it. Which, it's very much a boys' club. At the end of the day, people still have their beliefs, unfortunately, no matter how ignorant it is. Apparently there was a few people, eyewitnesses that were there and they saw it happen. Because I know with the age of social media we live in, there's always going to be people be saying, "Oh, did you take video of it? If there's no video, then it didn't actually happen." Ho 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 ho. It's like, first of all, dude, go fuck yourself. Just fuck off. I talked about it with RJ on Saturday. Here's how I look at it. I don't know much about this girl. I really don't. RJ had to fill me in on who she was. So I don't see why she would lie or why she would have to lie, because I don't know if there's any personal heat with her or Rick. It is a bit weird only because they were at a place where everyone was filming. I mean, you're not wrong about that. I get that, but here's how I kind of look at it. Is like, I don't see why she would have to lie. I don't see what she gains by going after Rick Steiner of all people. You know, unless there was like some heat there that we're not sure of. You know, it's not like a Jesse Smollett, you know, situation where he claims he was attacked and, you know, almost lynched and yada yada yada. We already know about that. But this just seemed like it was really specific. And I think if she really wanted to pull a Jesse Smollett, she would have went after a bigger name. But again, not to say that's right or wrong, but for someone like Rick Steiner, who, you know, we've done some digging in, he's very much a what's the right way to put it? Conservative. Rick hasn't, as far as I know, Rick hasn't really made a statement. He hasn't really made a statement. Scotty hasn't made a statement. So I'm pretty sure Scotty was there, and Braun hasn't. I mean, I don't see why Braun would make a statement. I'm pretty sure WWE has told him to just kind of keep his mouth shut about it. But nonetheless, they got to the heads of WrestleCon, and they told Rick to get out, and he's been banned from any WrestleCons from here on out. Disagree on banning him. I don't know, but Rick Steiner, you know, did some digging. He's very much a conservative type of person. I know Cornette and Lass were talking about it, and apparently he's like the head of like his local school board, and he has very conservative ideas. And they didn't really go into detail, but yeah. My whole thing is like, why would Rick do that when he knows? Again, I always say you can't expect Grandpa to know what's hip and cool. You can't, but you can only hope that, you know, he can at least have the wherewithal to say, I'm just gonna keep myself out of this. You know what I mean? Because again, not comparing. My dad's an old school guy. He has a very old school way of thinking. Not to say he's conservative like a Rick Steiner, for example, but he does on occasion make little comments. I'll just say that, and I'll just kind of have to like check him. Be like, Dad, you can't say shit like that. And my dad's not a racist. My dad's not a sexist or a homophobe. He's really not. But he'll just make like jokes. He'll make dumb jokes, and I'll just be like, Dad, you can't say shit like that. But my dad also wouldn't see a transgendered woman and say, hey, you're this, this, and that. You're a freak. You're trash. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, one of those like stuck in their ways type of people, but my dad at least learns. My dad knows how to adapt and at least learn to kind of like say, maybe this isn't worth getting in trouble over. Like, he's not a mean-spirited person, I'll put it that way. With a guy like Rick, you know, why would you go through the trouble of yelling at a transgendered woman, you know, the kind of things that this, you know, young woman listed in her tweet? You know, for me, example, if I don't like somebody, I mean, in my case, if I don't like somebody, it's because I think they're a shitty person. Not because of who they are, or who they sleep with, what they look like, what their gender is. I could give two fucks. If you're a shitty person, then you're a shitty person. But if I think you're a shitty person, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just not going to have any interaction with you. I'm just going to stay the fuck away from you. I'm not going to take time yelling, hey, you suck, you're an asshole, fuck you, get the fuck out of my room. You know what I mean? So, for a guy like Rick, how does he not think that this is not something that's going to hurt his son? Because you know there's going to be the people that are going to try and put all this shit on Braun's lap. Which it shouldn't, because for a guy like Braun, like, I can imagine if he does make a statement, it's, you know, I love my dad, but I'm not my dad. You know, I'm disappointed. Like, I can imagine that would be a statement if it were a statement. So, and I can almost guarantee that there's been a phone call with Braun and his dad saying, hey, you know when you do shit like this, it affects me, right? Because pretty soon he's going to go to the main roster and he's going to be a star. Again, I don't want it to affect him, and I hope it doesn't. I hope people aren't ignorant enough to realize, this guy is not his dad. But, there's going to be people that are going to try and blame, him for his dad's actions. I mean, if he does do it, I'm sure he wasn't thinking that far ahead. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, Cornette and Brian Last talked about it, and Brian Last just kind of... Cornette was kind of like not trying to justify it, but he was kind of like what I just said, where he was like, what motive does this girl have to go after him if it isn't true? And Cornette's a lot more, I guess, lenient with stuff like this. He tries to find the problems with it that aren't as deep as they seem, whereas Brian Last just kind of went, maybe he's just an ignorant dickhead, or just an ignorant moron. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's just ignorance. Just pure ignorance. I mean, it's still very much a boys' club in wrestling, especially with the old-timers. I mean, today it's obviously a lot more, welcoming. I mean, if Giselle Shaw went into a room surrounded by, today's current wrestling talent, she'd be welcomed with open arms. But, you have, the old heads that grew up in a very old way of thinking. And not to say all of them are like that, but a lot of them still are in that mindset of like, I don't believe this, and that, yada, yada, yada. So, again, you can't expect Grandpa to be up to date with what's cool and hip, but that's pretty much all I'm going to say on the matter. I think it's unfortunate that that girl had to go through what she went through, and, hopefully this shines a light on people just changing. Hopefully it changes and weeds out, the Rick Steiners or the other, ignorant dickheads in, wrestling past. So that's all I'm going to say on it. I hate to end the show on a downer. But I don't even know if I want to talk about the Vickie Guerrero thing. That's just depressing. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Oh boy. So Vickie Guerrero. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong link. So Vickie Guerrero's daughter says that she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. Vickie chose him over her. So Sherilyn Guerrero, who's the second oldest daughter that... Actually, because I know Eddie had 3 kids. He had 2 with Vickie, and they had 1 while he was in rehab, because I read his book and I saw like the documentary where he talked about when him and Vickie were split, or was it split? Separated. There you go. He had an affair with somebody while he was in rehab, with a woman that he met while he was in rehab, and they had a daughter. I think her name is Tara. So two girls with Vickie, 1 girl with this mystery woman. So Shaw is the oldest. Sherilyn is the second oldest. Sherilyn posted on her TikTok account that she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather, who's Vickie's husband, in 2020 while they were on a cruise. She mentioned she wants to have a relationship with her mother, but instead she chose to side with her husband. She also said that she didn't want to wish anything negative in the direction of her family, but she wanted to get this out because she's received messages about not being involved with her mother, but when the reality is that her mother blocked her. And then Chavo Guerrero made a tweet about it, saying, "Just let everyone know I fully support my cousin Sherilyn Guerrero, Eddie's daughter, and I've been doing so privately in the last couple of years of her struggles. She's a very strong woman coming forward with the sexual assault she has suffered. Love you, Prima." And Vickie had a response. And she said, I believe on her Instagram, "There are 2 sides to a story. Over 15 years of my relationship with Sherilyn has been very hostile, and I have tried to deal with a narcissist person, not only myself but close friends of Sherilyn over 10 years. And family have cut ties with her because of romantic behaviors. I tried to do therapy with Sherilyn, but she always said no, and that I am sick of her. Sherilyn, please tell your side of the character. Please tell your side of your character of being drunk on the cruise and having guys in your room, then crying because you think you were raped, then demanded us to go to a pharmacy in the Bahamas for Plan B. You want to play dirty and sling Chris and I through the mud. I have my own pile of mud from you. Are you enjoying the 2 cars that Chris bought you, the 3 apartments you bailed out of, and the 2 surgeries we paid for you? Your lies will catch up, and I feel bad for you. Sherilyn, not once have you spoken to Chris about the situation, but you can go on social media and tell all, but that's how you communicate. Another example of you manipulating, harassing others. Damn, this is a long-ass fucking post. I am so done with you and tired of the years of manipulation, lies, and disrespect. I keep quiet for years because you never seek therapy to learn how to have an adult conversation with me. It has always been your way of nothing at all, or nothing at all. Okay, Sherilyn, not only will I see you in court, but you and I will no longer be related. For the fans who feel entitled to comment, fuck you. You hear one side of the story, and you feel entitled to comment on something you know nothing about. Fuck, where do I begin? That's a lot. That's heavy. When I read that statement just now, that's the first time I actually read it. I know I'm comparing 2 different things, but you'll get my point. It's like with the Jonathan Majors statement. It wasn't really a statement, it was more just his lawyers releasing his text messages from his ex-girlfriend that he got arrested for supposedly, battering, but then apparently he didn't. And then there's proof, and they kept sending us proof, and then they released this. And the text message, it doesn't really tell you anything. Like, it's one of those things of like, it doesn't make him look bad, but it doesn't make him look good. It's one of those things of like, it's very open-ended, and they're speaking in like cryptic riddles, where you're like, okay, what does this mean? What does it mean? What do you mean by when you say it happened? So it's one of those things of just like, this is very open-ended and very divisive. This is divisive, but also bad. I think Vickie should have handled this better, because in the Instagram post, she doesn't really address what happened. All she says is that her daughter is manipulative and manic depressive, and yeah, we'll talk about the Barbie movie to kind of end on a higher note. But I'll try to be brief with this because I don't want the show to end on a downer. But she doesn't really talk about what happened. She doesn't really address it. She just says you're manic depressive and that you blame me for all your problems and blah, 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 blah. So, what is this cat doing? Give me 1 second. I gotta throw my cat out. Hey. Sorry about that. My cat was about to crap in front of my door, so I threw his ass out. Anyways, yeah, it's bad. It's not a good look. She maybe should have handled it privately instead of trying to make it public. But it's depressing. It's really depressing to think about that this once close family. Maybe Eddie dying kind of left a big stain on this family. I don't know what happened. But it's very depressing to talk about. I know Shawl, the oldest, she brought it up and she kind of like was more, I guess, more of trying to be the mediator in it, where she said straight up it happened, but me and my sister have not been close for a long time and I had to cut ties with her. So yeah, I'll leave it like that. I don't want to get too much into it because it's a very depressing topic to talk about. But Maurice, all right, the Barbie movie with John Cena. I know John Cena's in the movie. I just didn't actually see him. I mean, that movie is either going to be really good or really bad. It looks stupid as hell, but it's either going to be good stupid or bad stupid. But I just kind of hope the movie isn't so much predicated on the whole joke of, oh, Ken's an idiot and Barbie's smart. Because if that's going to be the running gag for that whole movie, then it's like, no. I'm amazed that's a movie. I mean, at this point, anything's a movie. I mean, we always said Hollywood's run out of ideas. It's either a superhero movie, it's either a reboot, it's Star Wars, it's a sequel to a movie from 40 years ago. I mean, fuck. Top Gun made a dick ton of money and got nominated for Best Picture, so good for them. Even though I never saw the first one. I'm literally the only person that has not seen the new Top Gun movie. Sorry, guys. But, I mean, they're doing that. They're making a movie about the creator of Hot Cheetos. I shit you not. I think it's on Hulu. The person who created Hot Cheetos. That is a movie. I shit you not. I think there's a movie on Apple about the creator of Tetris, and I heard it's actually pretty good. Watched a documentary about that. It was pretty interesting. And then Maurice is saying on the Spider-Verse trailer part 1, that looks fucking awesome. I liked the first Spider-Verse. That was a movie I had no expectations of when I saw it, and then I saw it and I fucking loved it. It's one of my favorite movies. It's top 10 easily as far as comic book movies go. So Spider-Verse looks fucking cool. You got fucking Miguel O'Hara in it, the 2099 Spider-Man, which I actually had that figurine. I actually had that toy back in the day. It's got to be in my storage somehow. I don't know where the fuck it is though, but so that's gonna be fucking cool. I can't wait for that. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is gonna be Miguel O'Hara. He came out in the post-credit scene for Spider-Verse. That was him. So he's gonna be Miguel O'Hara. That's gonna be part 1. What they do with part 2 is gonna be pretty fucking interesting. So I can't wait for that. That's on June 2nd. And then of course Guardians 3 is gonna be fucking epic. I'm probably gonna cry. I cry at everything, but I'm really gonna cry at this. And the tickets came out. I've not bought the tickets yet. I'm gonna wait because we still gotta pay bills around here. So they released a lot of like posters for the movie with Rocket, which this is the last movie, and apparently either people are going to die or they're going to retire. They're making it very obvious that they want to kill Rocket. I hope they don't kill Rocket. Like, please don't kill Rocket. He's awesome. That's going to be awesome. I don't know if anyone's seen John Wick. John Wick was fucking great. John Wick 4 was fucking great. Saw that in IMAX. It's a 2.5 hour movie. 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's worth it, though. Doesn't even feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes. So good, so great. I love John Wick. I love all the John Wick movies. If you don't love the John Wick movies, then something's wrong with you. I'm just going to say that. Saw the new Dungeons and Dragons movie last night, and I thought that was really good. That was a movie that could have just been a popcorn flick and just been generic as fuck, but it was really good. It was really fun, really entertaining. It did kind of the cliche, popcorn movie action shit, but it was entertaining. It was predictable, but it was entertaining. I'm surprised by how much I liked it. I'm glad I did. And this weekend I want to see that movie Air, about the creators of the what is it? The fuck you call it? Air Jordan shoes. That looks fucking good. That looks really good. Ben Affleck's directing and starring with Matt Damon. Pretty nice cast. Marlon Wayans is in it, which is random. Chris Tucker. You just see Chris Tucker getting work. So I can't wait. Viola Davis, who's one of my favorite actresses. Love her. I think she's awesome. But yeah, I love movies. I love going to the movies. Going to the movies is fun. It's my solace. just to get away from everything, just sit in a room, watch a movie, relax, unwind. I'd rather watch good movies though. I don't know. I don't like the idea of paying for bad movies. I know most people will be like, I just want to get out of the house. I am not going to pay money to watch a movie I know is going to be shit. I'll probably wait for that to come out on streaming. But that's really about it. I mean, I make sure to end the show on a good note, not a depressing note. But thank you to everybody that showed up. Thank you to Justin. I'm sorry. Sorry, I wasn't able to join the rest of the show. But I need Justin at 100%. So next week he'll be 100%. Yeah, I got a lot done. But thank you to Justin, my wingman, my partner in crime. Thank you for coming on. And can't wait for next week. And you will be 100%. And thank you to everybody. And thank you to everybody that came in and listened and left comments and supports the show, downloads the show, shares the show. And just shout out to everybody. Shout out to Wrestling Soup for keeping the lights on. Missionary, who's in the chat, or was in the chat. Joe Numbers. Let's see, Breaking the Apocalypse. Which I think John did a Patreon show. He did a side salad with Mission Joe, which I missed. So I can't wait to catch it on the replay. Kevin Castle, of course. Trez. Who else? Andrew Karlik. Wrestling Core. RJ. My boys. RJ. Can't forget about RJ. RJ, Monty. Trifecta Threat. We just did we did a night 2. We did night 1 and night 2. Well, separately because Monty wasn't able to join us for night 1, but me and Monty did night 2. So listen to those shows. Ruben Prime, of course, my boy. Jeff Littman, Hammerlock Hangover, Steve Pena, of course. And who are some other names I'm blanking on? Before I go. June 14th. I don't know if you guys saw what I posted. I did the math. So June 14th will be episode 300. I know it's a long ways away. I know it's only 2 months away. But June 14th will be episode 300. So 300 episodes. I can't believe it. I didn't think I'd make it that long, but 300 episodes. Once we get a little closer to that, I'll make plans in advance, of course. Maybe get some special guests on here like I did for the 5-year anniversary show. Maybe get some of y'all on to talk a little bit of shit. But 300 episodes is coming up in June. Can't wait. It's going to be a big show. I'll make sure to plan it. And hold on. Rick has almost no social media brands outside of his Facebook. Okay, I was reading what Goof said. But Patreon, it's only $5 a month. We'll be definitely putting out some new shit as soon as we can. We just got to get everyone's schedules in order. But I do 3 shows. I do a show with RJ, Attack of the Savage Nerds. I do a show with Ruben Prime called Culture Attack, which we need to get another one of those shows out. And I do a show with Jeff Littman, which is Garden of Droom. It's usually like a monthly show because it's kind of it's a very complex show. It's me. The point of the show is me giving topics of conversation for Jeff to talk about. And it's more so like a homework assignment. And it's mainly just Jeff talking and me listening. And it's very interesting. I love it. I love these shows. So look out for those. And it's $5 a month, people. Patreon. If you haven't already, sign up today. And social media handles, Twitter, I'm mainly on. I'm on Instagram, but that's more of like a public thing and not for the show. And then I have a Facebook page, which I don't really use that much. So more so Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. And shows are everywhere. You can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere, people. But anyways, guys, appreciate y'all. Again, Justin, feel better. Feel 100. And we will see you next week. And next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday is the first Q&A show of the month. So if you haven't already, send your questions. So anyways, guys, be safe, have fun, and peace out.